off key.
Well, he was doing the original. I was parodying it to be
Captain America versus Hydra.
Speaking to Bucky.
Alright, everybody heard that Nate was parroting.
Parroting, yes.
It was the parody. Alright, so
he's a parrot.
Now that everybody's here, let's go ahead and get started.
Already did.
Last the champions of Iron left off, you guys had begun making your way to visit various places mentioned within your dreams that you all had individually during your month of downtime. You visited the Vitrith Mountains, the previous home of Lorelei, made your way into a cave to fight off a Gorgon troll. After all falling to the troll, you guys, save for Lufir, woke up several hours later. Lufir was resurrected via the power of Amartia's parents, who are still needing first names.
I'll come up with something when I'm not on pain meds.
Don't come up while on pain meds.
You guys spent a couple of days in the Selwick Forest, in the settlement of Selwick, which you found out is a tribe of half-orc and human werewolves. During your time there, Lufir participated in a challenge of honor, decided not to use his Lycan form, and still managed to pull away with 2 victories, earning himself a very interesting Makuhitil. You guys then revisited the cave after the Greenleaf parents had managed to plane shift the troll to the Feywild, where it would be less destructive, or at the very least it would be avoided or possibly make new friends, because Feywild is weird. Amartia completed her portion of this part of her trip, learned of another location to visit towards, and you guys started to make your way towards Hearton, stopping off to pick up Horus, Abyss's current fling, I guess, is what to refer him as. She's not particularly attached.
Yet.
I mean, she's shown no interest in making any of this permanent, so, and she's already said she's going to forget him. Which
said that he wasn't here, she would forget him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, you guys, accompanying Horus, made your way up northward until on a blood-red morning, you guys came across a battlefield strewn with blood. You guys pushed into the road and encountered an invading force from Ogrelal, led by a heavily armored man with a red and black tabard, controlling 3 void elementals. You guys engaged in combat, pissed off some of the heavier enemies a little quickly, and found yourselves in a little over your head, still managing to keep yourselves alive as the enemies headed off towards whatever direction, whatever place they are going. You did manage to knock the heavily armored paladin unconscious as he was being towed away by one of his elementals. We are picking up. You guys are just finished collecting yourselves after the fight. The fear conditions on Rachicha and Valeria have worn off. You guys have not yet scavenged any bodies, or you also have not yet made any attempts to glance around at anything. So As we pick up, what would people like to do?
Scavenge.
Yeah, I figured.
Of course.
Okay.
I
You can
was
roll
gonna ask-
investigation on that. Someone can join if they want to, or someone can
Yeah.
give it advantage if they
Oh.
want to.
give guidance to anybody if they want it. So,
I want to go up to this guy.
The dead Fagard.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. I was thinking that too.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Lorelai's
definitely
doing scavenging in this area, and Valeria's going up. Abyss, you wanted to join Lorelai.
Yeah,
Do you want to make your own roll, or you just want to give her advantage?
I'll give her advantage.
Cool,
Wait,
Lorelai.
Hold on. What role is this? Investigation?
Yes, and you have advantage on yours. Valeria, also investigation, no advantage. Guidance from Amartia instead.
Okay. Nemia, what is your
We're not.
investigation?
We changed that rule. Unless Abyss is proficient, then it doesn't matter.
So
Okay, yeah, because I have an investigation of 1.
Let me see.
I haven't been
I
given
am not.
guidance. Yeah.
You have been
Okay.
given guidance, but
I
that's
have
not.
been.
It's not advantage.
Okay.
It's a plus a D4.
So he's got that.
Okay, and then
I-
roll a D4.
Did I roll that at advantage?
You
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 did,
sure did.
okay.
No, I rolled it at disadvantage.
Still
I mean,
wrong.
Either way, I think it's just like
Why?
you fixed it.
Either way, it was the 13 plus a 1. Cool.
Ugh.
All right. Both of you rolling pretty on par with one another. Lorelai,
Terrible.
you dig around the dead orcs and around you.
Could have just inspired Nemia to do it. I should have done it.
It'd be pretty hard to inspire someone who's not here.
True.
Shut up! You know.
I look how long that took you to piece together. Okay, you find about 70 gold amongst the orcs. They have no copper or silver on them. You see that their weapons are damaged. There's nothing particularly special, except for 2 of them have like religious symbols. That's all you find, Lorelai. Valeria, aside from the heavy armor that this person is wearing, they have a short bow and a great sword. Their armor and such is in pretty beaten condition.
Is there-
And you find this guy's a higher CR.
You said there was a short bow, yeah?
He has a short bow, yes.
Does he have any arrows I could take back to Martia?
Yeah. Roll me 2d6 to see how many arrows he has.
Okay.
What did I just roll? I got a 71. Okay, so you find 9 arrows for Amartia that are in serviceable condition.
That's more than none.
Sure is. However, you also find something far more interesting for you. 800 gold.
Jesus fuck.
And...
Oh.
50 platinum.
Jesus Christ. Okay then.
Because you have lived on Verwyn all of your life, you are aware of this person's ranking. This would have been one of the personal warlords underneath the royal family.
Oh, God.
An exceptionally high-ranking member of the military.
Well, I guess he doesn't need this now. Jesus.
Okay, so while they're searching bodies, Amartya, you wanted to do what now?
Well, I wanted to ask, are the void elemental bodies still here
Nope.
on this plane, or did they disappear? Okay.
They did not disappear, they exploded.
They exploded.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember that.
How's my investigation?
Pretty good.
It's a 2. That's not pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's just better than 0.
Anything's better than 0.
Do we still have any of the higher ranking orc bodies? Like, were
The
there any-
hand and the claw of Luthic.
Okay. I'd like to go through those to see if I could find any, like, potential, missives or papers or just something to get more of a sense of what the hell is going on with them. We know they're from Ogre Lal, but maybe, I don't know. Any of them could be holding any insight as to what exactly that group is trying to do.
Okay. Before you start looking through them, I will ask you for history check
Sure.
at disadvantage.
Okay. I don't even think my investigation's gonna do anything. I just would like to do something.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Okay. You're unsure as to the hierarchy of Ogrelal militants. So, who do you want to search? There's the hand of Yurtrus, the claw of Luthric, and the war chief.
Well, my thought would be just nab the war chief first.
I'm really confused about that roll, though.
What?
The roll that she made.
Just now?
Yeah.
I just told you what it was for.
No, I know, but
Figuring out hierarchy and orcs.
God, which
I
one
just
of these?
assume.
Which one of these is fucking?
I just
Oh, did
assume, hey,
I
chief,
delete him?
Maybe he's higher rank.
You might have.
I can't find the body of the orc war chief.
Isn't he one of the ones who ran away?
He is. Oh
Never
damn.
mind.
Okay, so there's the hand
That
of
removed my
Yurtrus
easy
and the
one.
claw of Luthric.
The hand was the one that was firing off spells, right?
They both did. Because the claw was the one that did the guiding bolt, but the hand was also casting. Because the hand did inflict wounds.
I remember one of them ran off with the
I already told
One of
Lorelei
them
she
was flying.
found. I already told Lorelei she found religious symbols on the both of them. She's already checked their bodies.
Yeah, I'll probably just...
They both have religious symbols, so there's really nothing actually. And from my sight, there's nothing differentiating between the two.
Not particularly.
All right then.
I don't even think
sec.
appearance-wise they're that different.
And 2. I'm gonna search the claw.
Okay. Start digging through, looking for any kind of important paperwork on the claw. Go ahead and roll me investigation.
Guidance. Yeah, I
Okay.
figured.
You
I'm
do
rolling wonderful
find
tonight, guys.
you do find kind of a rough stitched journal. It is written in a language you do not understand.
Hey, holds up the journal. Can anybody read this?
Does anybody know Orc? I mean,
Favorite
there
page
is
a day.
certainly one person with you who knows Orc, but I'm just checking if any of you know Orc first.
Not me.
Nope.
I don't.
I don't.
I
I should.
personally don't know.
I have comprehend language.
You could read it.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I
If
know
you feel
orc.
like casting a spell.
Like, I mean, it's the end of the day. It's a level 1 spell, and I have.
It's the beginning
four
of the
more.
day, ain't it?
No, it's a little bit afternoon.
Hang on,
No.
isn't comprehend languages, doesn't that have the ritual tag?
I can't tell you right now, as my mouse just stopped functioning.
Un momento, por favor. I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't remember. I think it does.
It has the R tag.
Yay! So you can cast that as a ritual.
Okay, so
I
after
might hold it in.
searching for loot, Lorelei sits down in the bloody snow and starts to ritually cast the spell,
Okay, I can blitz
which
to get blood, do
for a bard probably entails playing a song.
It's okay. After I'm reading this book, I'll play Song of Healing, or whatever the thing is.
Song of Rest.
Fountain of. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. The Song of Resting.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can take a short rest if you want to. You can ritually cast in the midst of that short
Okay.
rest. I won't prevent
Hold
that.
on.
It's not a difficult task to ritually cast a spell.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Let me see.
Oh, okay. What the hell's going on now? Oh my god. I'll be right back.
You just got kicked out of the game. That's what happened.
Bye-bye.
Cool. So
Yeah.
Lorelei starts playing a song of rest in the midst of also ritually casting comprehend languages. You guys can roll hit dice if you want to.
Yes.
Would you like to go first, Lufier?
For what?
Hit dice?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Everybody has all of their hit dice, by the by. It's been in long enough since your last combat. It's an extra d6 for Song of Rest still.
Jeez.
Can we just roll a d6, or does it have to be with hit dice?
You have to use
Mine's
the hit
equal
dice before you
d6.
can roll the d6
Okay.
as part of the
I'm not
condition.
down by much.
Back at the 20.
Only down by
plus
Yeah, it's
3.
worth it.
Great.
Cool, it's enough to get Horace back up to his 12 hit points.
Like 1d6?
Yeah, 1d6.
Hey.
I'm.
I'm 4 away from full. I can handle that.
Can you?
I think I can.
So, in the midst of your short rests, as Lorelei plays a calm, simple song, and eventually begins to read through the orc's journal. You guys all have time amongst yourselves, and you begin looking out and about. There is a lot of blood. A lot of the snow is melted, far beyond what I could display here on the map. But there's not a lot of bodies.
Just a lot of blood.
Yes. And as you guys begin to examine the northern parts of the battlefield, it looks like bodies were dragged.
Can I tell if they were dragged into the direction that they were walking away from?
Make a survival check.
Okay. Okay. This is not my day. I'm assuming I can't see shit. To be honest.
You're more lost in the gravity of the number of bodies as you start to piece together rough amounts of how many people probably died here. Would either of the blooded hands like to attempt to make a tracker's tools check?
Wait, hold on. I don't have a tracking tool.
Sure.
You should. It's part of your
I
guild.
do.
Yeah. Okay, so one of you, or both of you, I guess, make a tracker's tool check with intelligence. Wow.
You said both of us can do it
Yeah.
with intelligence. Oh, it didn't ask me to select it.
You might have accidentally set yours up instead of being query. You might have set it up as a specific thing.
Oh, yeah, I did. That was wisdom. My bad.
Okay, so that should actually be a little bit higher then. Yeah, it's not difficult for either of you to piece together. It seems as though the bodies were all being dragged to a central location. When you all arrived, that location would have been where the Void Elementals were.
I don't know why I can't edit it, but I'll think of that later.
Wait, that was where the Void Elementals were?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody already rolled.
I was just making sure everybody got their extra 1d6
After piecing that together, about whereabouts how this all fits together, you go and start to examine everything that exploded out of the Void Elementals you guys managed to slay. As you begin to pour through the strange bits and objects, you do see viscera and muscle tendons,
Yeah.
an eyeball,
Yeah.
someone's finger.
Hang on.
It does not take long before some of you or all of you piece together that when the Greenleaf parents were speaking about the Void Elemental that destroyed Ardwall, how it grew larger and larger the more it consumed. They were intentionally feeding the Void Elementals to make them larger and stronger.
That's why they were dragging the bodies.
Martia starts looking a little green around the gills at all the viscera around.
Make a Constitution save.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I was actually trying to get it, but it wasn't. I was like, just.
Hey, maybe you'll pull an Eliana and then pass out and not be able to move.
Okay. Amartia has to go and find herself a little spot behind a tree for a little bit as she starts dry heaving.
Sure, I still have some breakfast there.
Oh, you don't throw up. You managed to keep your you rolled well enough to keep it down, but it's more of an anxiety type. Yeah, dry heave.
I know what you're talking about. I think dry heave, and I think when you've basically emptied out your stomach already and there's nothing left. But yeah, she just nope.
Lorelei, while the others are examining these facets of the battlefield, you have finished your ritual and begin reading through the orc journal. Where do you start?
I don't understand what you mean by where do you
Do you start towards the middle of the book, the beginning, or the end?
That's a good question. Like, is it a long book? Because like I know the spell's timed, and I'm not exactly quick reading.
You wouldn't be able to finish reading the whole of it. I mean, you get through as much as you get through.
I mean, I guess since we're gonna keep the book on this, no doubt, I would probably start at the beginning of the book and read as far as I can, and probably
Okay.
try to finish it later.
Getting through about as much reading of this journal as you can. It begins by telling the story of this orc. There is no name written. You do not know the name of the orc, but it tells about. The journal starts when they're 5 and begins to go through meaningful events to them as a, not quite a daily journal, but like there's entries about, today I began my training with such and such to wield the blade and to serve Lothric. Getting through about as much as you can, you get to about the age of 14. The most recent entry you managed to finish is them talking about how they have finished their training and they are now a fully recognized Claw of Lothric. A lot of what you read through is just this orc's childhood and this strange pride in sustaining through a very, very difficult childhood. As a Claw of Lothric, his skin was flayed, his bones were intentionally broken, he was burned, he had to be buried in hot ash for 2 days. There's probably points where even with your cool demeanor, you probably have to stop for yourself for a second, because even with your constant calm, he's very forthcoming in his descriptions, and it gets to the point where you probably have to take a moment to take a deep breath and not barf. But you've read about the trials and the pain that it takes to become a Claw of Lothric. I suppose you can decide whether or not Lorelei actually feels any emotions in this situation.
I mean, you pretty much described it.
Lorelei is
kind of just
a
not
psychopath.
Hey, she may be crazy, she may be evil, but come on, there's a limit to things.
If she doesn't display emotions to anything, Lorelei is a bona fide psychopath.
No, I don't see her. If it was too human, like I envision her just wanting to torture humans, but that kind of stuff is probably a little too far off the handle. More like an insta-death type of person rather than a long, torturous type of person.
She wouldn't draw it out.
Yeah,
It'd be
torture
just
is not
one and
not
done.
Lorelei's kind of thing.
Well, most of what's being described in the book could definitely be considered torture. And it is heavily detailed.
Yeah, I would definitely say Lorelei is expressing very unusual facial expressions at this time. So many confused emotions.
It's usually how it goes.
Alright. We no longer need this screen, so we'll move you guys back to Erwin.
God damn it, Nate.
F to pay respects to Ardwall.
No, I'm sitting here updating something on the computer, and I click the finish the update button. All of a sudden, the screen changed. I'm like, what the hell did I click? Oh, too perfect.
Tu perfecto.
Yeah, I'm very glad I can't read Orcish now.
Hey guys, check it out. Ardwall's X'd. Press F to pay respect.
Man, I wonder who put that in there.
Oh, that was not me for once.
For once.
Let's see the beast.
Okay, what the fuck,
Our
man?
humble beginnings have been slurped.
Humble beginnings. Bumblebee tuna.
The only thing I thought of.
Okay. Fucking. Man, that town we started off in's gone. Tuna.
I mean, it got absorbed. Am I wrong?
I mean, it
Maybe.
did.
Are the
I mean,
people
yeah, when you
alive?
eat
They're
tuna, it
alive.
gets absorbed.
Yeah.
Only the town got absorbed. The people are fine.
The people that made it out.
Except for the guard. And
Yeah.
the only person I'm
Yeah.
thinking of, or the people I'm thinking of, is what's his face's
Hail,
pre.
Hail and Gale.
Yeah.
The transgendered
Yeah.
captain and their lover that you guys were working with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Former owner of Cerilius.
That's.
Uh-huh.
I just forgot Cerilius' name.
Yeah, because Solarius
Okay.
died, and everyone forgot that he died after like one game.
I remember that he
No, we
died.
I did
didn't.
not forget he died. I was actually
How
trying to think of like
dare
how the
you.
fuck do we get him back?
I
I-
was wondering how we were gonna make the funeral.
That
I
too.
figured that we
That's
weren't
awesome.
going to get him back, and he was just mush forever.
Yeah. Only to realize, oh hey, he can come back on his own. Cool.
I'm-
He came back somehow. He doesn't know, and we don't know. Will we ever know? Probably not.
The world may never
Uh,
know.
One of your party members probably understands how death as a fey creature works, to an extent.
An
Yeah,
extent.
yeah,
Hi, do you mean me?
yes.
Ah. Right. Oops.
I think I did describe it after I reintroduced Cerilius that
Right. He came through the clouds.
a lot of fey creatures they don't die,
But he wasn't considered Fey anymore.
which is why he did not come back to the Feywild. He
He
doesn't.
went back. He just didn't go back there.
Mhm.
He went to someplace else.
But then he
His
came back.
fey nature is being overwritten. It's not gone yet.
Oh.
Optimum word yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
optimum
yeah.
word for all of you is yet.
I know.
Oh, Lord. I don't like the
I'm
sound of
aware.
None of you are finished with your transformations. Except
Uh,
maybe Lufier.
Hmm?
that. I
Well,
can't
Fear
imagine
transforms every day.
changing anymore.
Not every day.
Well, you know, I know what'll happen to Lorelai. She'll grow a beard and shave it off. Change her name to Square Bob Sponge Pants.
So, small question, Lorelai. Speaking of. So, do you tell us about the journal?
Well, I hope not. For your sake.
Oh no, I will tell
For my
everybody.
sake, yes. I'm just curious as to how.
Okay,
deep she goes into
so-
it, if I need to make another con save.
I will tell you, but I will leave out the parts that make my stomach wrench. But I will tell you guys in great detail what I read.
Cool, make a
Because I
con
really-
save, Martina. Because
I had a
Lorelai,
feeling.
Lorelai is a lot less heartful
Yeah,
than
that's
you
why
are.
I was like, hey, do you tell us? Because I need to know if I make another con save.
Yeah, no, I was
Uh,
gonna tell you. I just you shouldn't have said anything because I would have just told you guys.
Yeah.
Except in character, she would have asked because she specifically asked you to read it. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm playing my character.
Yeah.
How would the rest
Sorry.
of you's characters react to somewhat detailed description of torture?
I'm sure
she's
I've
better
seen
than last time.
some thing of the sort.
See?
No, not at all. This is well beyond anything you would have ever encountered.
Oh.
That's kind of shocking.
This, compared to what you've seen on Verwyn,
Probably.
this would be considered animalistic and barbaric.
That's fair.
Yeah.
To do this
Actually, that
to
makes
someone
sense.
who is a member of your own race and a member of your organization, this would be considered treasonous. And you'd probably want to kill the person who performed this if this were someone you knew. You would absolutely cut ties, and you would probably consider them to be the greatest evil you had ever encountered, save for the jester.
Fuck the jester.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Jester.
I'm my jester.
So how would the other three characters react to being told about these kinds of excessively heinous and not as brightly detailed as written?
But still, just the idea.
Probably a bit horrified. Probably try to. Probably. Fuck.
Yeah. Her words
Cool.
mean a lot.
You guys are not emotionally mature enough to understand what your character would do. Okay.
Yeah, we're just.
To be fair,
To be fair.
this is the most RP you guys have ever had in a campaign before, so I'm assuming it is anyway. I don't know all of Jenna's history with games.
I've RP'd, but never like this.
Meanwhile, we all know I'm playing a child, so.
You are a child.
Fits!
Well, that's a good point.
Mm.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Abyss is in a decent adult range. Valeria doesn't have her age. And Lufir has lived quite a decent amount of time.
I think I said 24 or 25.
Okay, you're all adults.
Yeah.
Someone is
Physically.
almost an adult.
Physically.
You've all been adults for quite a while.
Yeah, Lufir is almost an adult.
So for some of you, it's probably a reaction of just disgust, turning away, not wanting to hear it, maybe covering your ears. Amartya,
La 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 la.
having already gone off to a corner to dry heave and like had to wipe away all of the tears that inevitably come up when you have that kind of an issue come up, a 12 I will say is not enough, and Amartya does turn away and barf.
Yeah, accurate.
Yay for first station. The barf back on the clothes. No, I'm kidding. Clean her off.
Use prestidigitation to put barf on her clothes.
And then clean it off immediately.
No, I cleaned her off. I don't need her
To be
being
fair-
all weird.
To be fair.
To be fair, it's accurate that she would actually like lose it for this because it's one thing the just concept of a creature eating corpses, which is still actually describing torture with Amartya being Amartya. That's
Horace
Report.
does pretty good with this information. He's not happy, but he manages to listen the whole way through.
Question, what's worse, this or Beholder? Like the elementals or Beholder?
what do you mean?
What do you mean?
It's just in like a general standpoint, I guess. Like
Uh,
the Void Elemental.
Are you asking
which is,
challenge rating? Like which one's more
No.
difficult?
No, which one would I don't know how to specify this question.
Village-wise, which one would be considered more dangerous or terrifying?
Sure.
I still vote Beholder. Those are actually intelligent. Firstly,
Yeah, I definitely say Beholder. 'cause
If
those
a,
things are
okay, so
They're
here's the difference. The major point that matters. The beholder is fully intelligent and
racist.
very willful. They also have a lot more at their disposal. A void elemental is dangerous in the sense that it is like a wildfire. If it is left unchecked by someone strong enough to contain it, it will continue to destroy until there's nothing left to destroy. So one's a force of nature and the other is a supervillain.
Yeah.
All right.
So, like I said, one's like a wildfire and the other is Lex Luthor.
So in terms of like situationally, it could change, but in my opinion, it's the Beholder because they are basically a supervillain.
Fair enough.
A force of nature, yes, it's dangerous, but it's not. It's not evil. Is the issue?
Could be. I'm kidding.
Wait, according to Amartia, are void elementals evil or inherently evil, or
You
does
don't
she
know.
not know? I had a feeling not, but I might
Void
as well ask.
elementals are a breed
Strange.
only from the Trail of Chaos.
Trails
They
of
don't
Chaos.
exist anywhere else.
Okay.
They can't even be
Oh.
summoned by normal druidic means.
Okay.
Oh. Well, that's good, but also bad.
It,
The egg
it,
here.
Druids
it
can turn
means
into
that no one
elementals.
in the world knows how to combat these things other than just keep going till it dies.
Yeah, makes sense. We didn't notice if anything that we did made more or less effect on them, aside from like mundane. I'm assuming.
Mm,
Okay, cool. Just making sure none of us noticed anything. So after somebody collects themselves, Amartia just kind of comes back. Still not looking good. I mean, she already is a pale tiefling, but she almost looks worse. And goes, why in the hell would you... He did this willingly? This was willing?
she's speaking to you, Ronnie.
Yeah, you're the one who
Oh,
read the...
sorry.
You're the one who read the journal.
I'm sitting here listening, but I'm not focused. No, yeah. She'll. Did I catch that part in the book, Nate?
It was.
Yeah,
Was he willing?
he was
Okay,
not only
yeah.
willing, he was proud.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. The whole proud part. I make the point very clear that yes, this is something he wanted to do.
She just kind of like blinks for a few moments and just goes, why? Why would anyone do that?
Okay. Lorelei puts her hand on your shoulder and says, "What would you do for something you love?" And I'll take it to the extreme. Some people are just crazy.
That's beyond crazy. That's straight up suicidal.
Animalistic.
No, not even that. I mean, animals don't do that. They won't torture themselves to death unless they are fighting to survive. And even then, that only goes so far. They'll chew off their leg if they're caught in a bear trap, but then after that, they just live with it,
Well then, barbaric.
I guess.
After a few seconds, Lorelei just, "I'm bored. Let's go."
Of course you
Wow.
are.
Okay.
I'm bored.
Of course.
As you guys start to gather up your equipment, Amartia, don't forget to mark down that Valeria found you. What was it,
9
9
arrows, right?
Yeah.
So a full
9 arrows of
20
arrowness.
Arrows. Sweet. On top of my silvered ones that I still have. Cute.
You got silvered.
As you guys collect yourselves, round up all the animals, and get ready to head out, you see that Horus has buried the claw of Lothric in the snow. And he takes a nearby sword and he plunges it in as a makeshift gravestone.
And he'd already removed the head of that one, right?
He did
Steve
not.
was doing that last time. Oh.
You actually see that all of the orcs remain with their heads, and the head that he had mounted on the shield, he threw to the ground. He turns to you all, tears in his eyes. I didn't understand, and I still don't fully understand, but there's something broken about them.
Honestly, Horace, I don't think any of us do. This is more than we've dealt with at all.
Lufir
E.
and Abyss. Roll history.
Yeah.
Bum bum bum.
They're about to prove me wrong.
Sorry. Oh God.
Well,
That statement.
both of them are from Ogrelal.
I
Lufir lived there
know.
much longer than Abyss did.
I know.
Okay. Both of you aren't as familiar with the military portion of orc life. But Lufir, you lived pretty close with orcs. You worked with quite a lot of them. A lot of orcs are same as regular humans. They live their life. It's a little bit more tribalistic, but the kinds of things that Lorelei described completely baffle you. Abyss, on the other hand, you have met orcs like this before. In the blooded hands of Ogrelal, there are claws of Lothric and other warped orcs. You certainly never knew what they went through, but they were fanatical. Like certain parts of their brain had been warped. Abyss, you now, having heard some of what these kinds of people went through, you're well aware that they probably were broken in the brain long before they started their path. In fact, they may have been born like that.
That's horrifying to think about.
Yeah.
Because you succeeded on that part of the history check, Abyss, you may make a religion check if you would like to.
Bum bum bum.
Thinking back on some of they aren't quite gods that are worshipped in Ogrelal. There are a number of older, darker powers worshipped in Ogrelal for the sake of gaining power. Lothric, those who pray to Lothric and bear a child, the child is given to Lothric. They are born with a willingness to serve under all and any circumstance to Lothric. So yes, they are born like that. They are born willing to undergo extreme torture and willing to give extreme torture. They have no regard for life aside from serving in whatever manner they are capable.
I relay this to the group.
Valeria
Works.
just shakes her head. She doesn't have words.
That is certainly something different.
Horus looks confused and sad. Okay, he manages to keep himself together. He's still slowly crying as he's coming to the realization of what exactly it might have been like for him if he had been born in Ogrelal. And he's understanding a little bit more of why their tribe may have fled. As that is not something that is taught in Selwick. They are taught of the general dangers of Ogrelal and the insanity, but he is only now realizing the full extent of that insanity. To be born insane. To serve a god of death. An eldritch being playing at being a god. You guys begin to trudge your way down the road. Quiet. Save for Lorelai's music.
Yes, who's trying to cheer up the group with music. Like we're walking to a damn cemetery.
You are walking through a
up.
graveyard.
Yeah.
We...
They died and were buried here, quote unquote.
If you're gonna play something, at least play like a funeral march.
Distraction leads to death. Team needs focus. Motivation. Motivating group.
This is what it's like to have a lawful evil in the party, guys.
I know.
They are constantly trying to keep the mood and keep the group moving through manipulation.
You will be happy for that.
You'll be happy and like it.
She's not gonna get. She's gonna try and just ignore Lorelai. But if Lorelai gets near her with the flute, she'll try and grab it.
Make a wisdom save for me.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have this in my book.
Oh, I have it.
Okay.
Better.
Whether you like it or not, Lorelai's playing doesn't necessarily improve your mood, but it is a distraction. And the fact that you're still willing to stop what you're doing and try to snatch at her flute means that she's doing exactly her job.
Yeah, probably.
Yay,
It
Lorelai
doesn't
did
stop you from
something.
trying to snatch her flute, though.
Oh, abso-frackingly not.
Oh,
But
hell
you
no.
you don't give in to the darker emotions of the weight on your mind. You guys all trudge your way past this gory scene. About an hour or so later, stop early in the day. Find yourself a spot to set up and start making yourself an early campsite as the emotional weight of what you have witnessed, as well as the physical strain of battle, means that you guys can't quite get yourselves to a full day's worth of travel. You're far enough away that you no longer see the blood, but Lufir, you do still smell it on the wind occasionally, until about an hour or two after you guys have made your camp, where the smell no longer pervades as it has started to dry out, or it is being buried under the snow.
That's a relief.
It is still snowing lightly. You guys set yourselves up for camp. Eat another, we'll say, 3 days worth of rations combined with anything that you may have been able to scrounge up. No, we'll say 4. Because you have an extra companion traveling with you. So you guys are down to 26 rations.
Bum bum bum.
We're almost to Amsville, so we can get more on the way there.
If they're
If it's still there.
You guys have yourselves a very simple meal. The dome is put up, and you guys take watches.
Do you need us to make rolls?
Not particularly, but I would like to know who takes watch.
I'll take a watch.
Last watch.
Oh,
That's
Okay.
4.
No, that's Lufir, Abyss, and Amartia, unless you said so as well, Lorelei.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I
I don't. I
first
just said I
respond.
don't need rolls.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so as each of you takes your rest, you are left in the calm, cold of contemplation, sat outside of the dome, alone with your thoughts. Each of you processes the strangeness of the day. And as each of you takes your watch, you also notice Horace does not sleep. He spends the night awake, a distance away, and during first watch, Lufir, you hear him crying.
I'll go over to him, sit next to him.
As you approach, he walks away.
Horus.
He doesn't respond.
Does he look he's like leaving the camp or just wanting to be alone?
Make an insight check.
Inside.
You are entirely unsure of what it is that he's up to. Every time you get closer to him, he gets further.
Stop playing games with the poor boy.
Yes, apparently. Alright, but I hope you're going to be okay. You know you can talk to us anytime you need to. I just go back to my position.
Okay, as you retreat back to the camp, he stays where he was after running away from you. You set yourself down for your rest, and during second watch, Abyss, Lufir lets you know that Horace is off on his own, processing emotions. And as your watch starts to come to a close, he hasn't come anywhere near the camp still. He's off on his own. And you hear a scream in the dark. Make an insight check for me. Damn. Okay. In his attempt to process and work through these strange emotions, he is screaming in anger and in confusion and in pain, and through the process of the scream, you hear it morph into him crying again.
Jesus. Should I? Am I able to try to go to comfort him, or is he too far away?
He's staying quite a ways away from the camp while he's doing all of this. So if you want to attempt to comfort him, you would have to move towards him.
I'll I want to comfort him, but I also should probably keep watch.
This is at the end of your watch.
Okay, let's go comfort him.
Okay. So as Lorelei is awoken for her part of the watch, Abyss, you head over to where Horace is. He is collapsed on the ground, head in his own hands, on his knees in the snow.
Hey, Horace.
When he hears you start speaking to him, you see as he quickly starts to scramble himself back up onto his feet and starts like wiping at his eyes and trying to clean his face.
Oh. Fuck, I don't exactly know what to say that might help.
I mean, if you were confused and angry and sad, what would you want to hear, or what would you want? It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you say. He's already you already gave him answers.
I've never been good with putting myself in other people's shoes.
Okay. I don't know what comforts you when you were in a heavy mood.
Music? But I don't. But Abyss can't really play music.
I mean,
Make
she
a
could
performance
try
check for me.
For singing.
Totally an option.
Okay. You just unaware of what to do. You try to start singing a song, to humming to try and calm him down. It's not a good performance, as you're trying to hum a tune, but you don't fully remember it.
Tune or two.
He's, wiped his face and he's tried his best to catch his breath and blow his nose. And, in the midst of your humming, he just kind of looks at you sheepishly, and you weren't supposed to see that.
Go fill it up. It's empty. Oh my god.
I'd feel awful if I didn't try to at least do something to help.
He looks excessively uncomfortable. The girl that helped him leave home, that he has strong attachments to, is seeing him in a very vulnerable space, and yeah, he does not. He looks very uncomfortable. He breaks the
Can you
silence.
repeat that?
Okay. He, after he said that you weren't supposed to see this, he looks very uncomfortable. He's like not even looking at you. He's in a very, very low, very weak spot, and he feels uncomfortable to have been seen by the woman who helped him to leave home, and that he has had, a romantic attachment to. After a little bit of silence, he just kind of, you should probably be asleep.
Okay.
You head back to the dome?
Yeah.
Okay. He does not accompany you.
Okay.
Lorelai!
Okay.
In the midst of your watch, Abyss returns and heads back into the dome to finish out her night's rest. And you do as you always do during your rest. You play a quiet song or you hum to yourself. Your rest goes, or your watch goes uninterrupted.
You know what's at this time? I really wish I had this sleep spell.
You say leap?
The sleep spell.
Oh.
I wish I
It
had a
doesn't
sleep spell.
put people to sleep permanently.
Yeah, I know, but it would just be something nice to knock his ass out, because he's gonna be a hindrance if he's all tired and shit.
But your
Yeah, that
watch
sounds like
went
a Lorelai.
uninterrupted.
Anyway, you finish out your watch, and Amartya, you pick up the last watch.
Alright. Do I still see he's been awake? That he's still awake?
You do still notice him awake.
As I'm switching out with Lorelai, I'll ask, when did he go? Has he gone to bed at all? I'm asking you, Ronnie.
I'm sorry, I was yelling at the little one. What happened this time?
I
No, he hasn't
asked-
gone to bed. No one seems to be able to put him to sleep, and Lord knows if I get out of this bubble, y'all are gonna complain that it's too cold outside.
Alright.
That's true. You can't leave the
You ain't
bubble.
wrong. You are not allowed to leave the bubble. Alright.
Good night. And Lorelai just plops to bed.
Mardia heads out with her animals. How far is he from the camp?
Pretty solid, like 300 feet.
What the fuck?
He was like 100 feet, and then Lufir went off after him, and he didn't want anybody near him, so he walked further away. He hasn't come back.
Well, there. I'm kidding.
Hang on, I'm looking at someone's sheet. Oh, perfect.
Sheet.
I'm going to take my watch, but as I'm on my watch, I use mold earth, and I want to make a stone daisy. And
Okay.
then, like a really small, tiny one. Give it to Bubo and instruct him to take it over to Porus.
Okay. So your tiny owl attempts to fly a stone flower over.
That's small enough that he can carry it. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Small
so it
enough
starts
you
with a
can
toothpick.
All right. He picks up the flower and he flies it
I don't
over
have
and
druid
lands
craft,
it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was that?
Bubo immediately returns after dropping it off.
And I look over. Does Horus
Bubo.
look like he noticed it at all?
Make a perception
Or is-
check. At Oh, no, actually. It's still nighttime in the winter. You can't see him.
Not at all.
No. He is far beyond your dark vision range.
Shit.
You can hear him occasionally.
Then I'll call out, Horace, you still out there?
There's no response.
Just because I don't want to lose his ass, I'm gonna go look for him.
Okay. You walk over in the direction that you hear him occasionally. You see that he's in the fetal position. Just clinging to his knees, sat upright.
Still awake?
You notice him look in your direction, but he doesn't respond.
If you're not gonna get sleep, you should at least stay in the bubble. It's not good to be out here this late. The cold gets too much.
Make a persuasion check.
Alright. Come on. As expected.
You see that he doesn't really seem to budge at all. It's also getting early-ish. Sun will start to rise soon-ish.
Start to take slow, careful steps. The kind that are like, if I make too quick of a move, I might scare him off.
Treating him like a bunny rabbit.
Yes. He is like a scared little freaked out bunny, okay?
At the moment, yes.
At the moment, yes. He's a scared freaked out little bunny.
Yes. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
This is
Once you get about 10 feet or so from him, he does stand up. You see that he is wearing a cloak that he was not wearing previously.
Do I recognize it as somebody else's?
It's not familiar.
Okay. I wasn't sure if like maybe he borrowed from Abyss or something.
Nope.
Trying to figure out how to phrase this without demeaning him. I had one thought. I'm like, no, that's gonna poke at his pride, and that's not gonna be good.
Probably not that one, no.
Well, as Amartya is pondering what to say, he's gathered up his stuff and he kind of walks off towards the rest of the group and just gives a pat on your shoulder as he passes by.
If it makes you feel any better, you're not the only one new to adventuring.
There's no audible response from him. He just continues walking. And as you also begin to head back, you do see he is outside of the dome, starting up a small fire.
If he'll let me, I'll just give him a hand since I'm last watch.
Yeah. As the fire starts to light up the area and the morning sun begins to rise, everybody finishes out their long rest. All your hit points are restored. You get your half of your hit dice back, which is 3 at this level. Spell slots are all restored. Your 1 per day abilities are all restored. You see that Horace has started a small fire with Amartia, and he's, taken some of his rations, and he's starting to cook up some sausages and stuff for breakfast. And as the morning light begins to shine brighter and brighter, all of you see the cloak he's wearing on his back. It is an elven cloak. Very fine silks, green and embroidered with gold. And etched into the back of it, there is a symbol. Those of you who lived on Verwyn, make a history check.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. Martia and Valeria, the symbol on his back is the symbol for the Court of Spring.
Which court handles Selwick Forest?
Selwick Forest is overwatched by wood elves. It's not particularly run by any of the no, not the big courts. You all also notice his eyes, which are normally a yellowish color, are instead orange.
Okay. As someone whose parents might have dealt with the Fae, does this seem oddly Fae related to me?
Oh yeah.
Or do I recognize it as something oddly Fae related?
I don't know if a 15 is high enough to divulge too much information. Let's see, what would you know with a 15?
What would I know with a 15?
Well, given that this occurred in the midst of the night, that there is no sign of blood on the cloak, and the sudden change in his eye color, the best you can guess is he was visited in the midst of the night.
But as by whom or what
Presumably,
that is,
presumably
I have
a member or a speaker for the Court of Spring. But beyond that, you're unsure. And you as a player can probably make an assumption, but your character is unsure.
other insignia aside from the fact that it's a spring court.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She'll kind of scrutinize it and the features that are changed from where she's sitting. Not like getting up in his face or anything, but just chooses to stay quiet.
Lufier joins in on assisting with breakfast.
I do.
Those of you who checked in on him, you do see that there are some red spots from his crying during the night, but he seems to be in a much calmer state. It's much more put together. And despite being up the whole of the night, he's moving pretty alright.
It's good to see he's active this morning.
Yeah. I guess.
Just have to keep an eye on him throughout the day.
Should have been sleeping.
I mean, how
Maybe
can
it's
we
a
make
good thing he was awake. I mean, how easy was sleep for you guys?
Once
It
I
was
tried
fine
to
until
talk,
y'all woke me up for my shift.
I
You mean
tried
like most nights?
Yeah.
It was a rough sleep for a lot of you. Martia, actually, now that your long rest is completed, I would like you to please make me a wisdom save again.
Oh shit. I should have said something, but okay. Hang on.
Okay. Despite the young nature of your mind and the very, very heavy emotions you're dealing with, you maturely managed to file those emotions away so that you could examine them at a different time and manage to shut off your brain. You did get a full night's sleep. You do not have to make a constitution save for exhaustion,
Yay.
which I found out this past week. Only once per 24 hours do you make that roll.
Well, that's good.
Thank fuck.
Yeah, I did not know that rule.
I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It means unless
Yes.
there's some outside force, you can only gain 1 point of exhaustion per day
Per day.
for lack of sleep. You can gain additional points of exhaustion for things like not eating and not drinking.
Like,
Or
I
extreme
apologize
temperatures.
because this is probably stupid, but I feel like that's how we've done it this entire time.
We have been doing it where every couple of hours beyond not sleeping, I've made you roll. You had to do 4 for a night's not resting.
But
Huh.
it's only happened like a handful of times. So.
Yeah. That's why I didn't even know there was a rule. I just thought it was like, if you don't sleep, you make con saves to get exhaustion.
I mean, the one
When have we
time I
done
can
this
think of
out?
off the top of my head was when we were in the snow. In the other
During-
game.
That was elemental, though. That wasn't for lack of sleep. It was condition.
There were a couple nights we couldn't sleep though. Because of the sheer cold, but yeah, it was a combination of, so that still made sense for it to be a couple of things. But yay, I don't have to make con saves. That's a freaking comfort.
You guys have yourself a breakfast. It is this meager, traveling breakfast cooked over a very small fire in the midst of a light snow.
Lorelai looks over at Lufir. I think turning into a moose has made you a little less skilled at cooking.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He can't do any of his fancy chef tricks as well as he used to be able to, but
I
I
still
know.
know how to cook.
I'm being insulting again to try and change the mood. Hint.
I'm
You're
still
being
using my,
Lorelai. is
I'm
what
still
you're
using
doing.
my fire thing, Nate.
There you go. Lorelai's
the
doing
fire
the Lorelai.
The
thing?
giant Bunsen
Yeah.
burner?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
With the
Okay,
oil.
yeah, that has a certain amount of time it can be used, and if you're using it, you have to keep track of that.
Well, I'm for cooking only when we camp out.
Yeah, that's like an hour of use every time you cook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that uses oil.
That you have to purchase.
I've got oil on
To
me.
cook.
Thank you for contributing.
Question. Can't we just like take fats and turn that into the oil?
No.
No,
this
not-
uses a different type of oil.
This isn't oil for cooking. This is oil for heat, for causing the flame.
I know. I'm just like, I don't know. You could use fats.
Those
for that,
kinds
I
of
think.
fats don't burn well enough to be used to make a fire.
No,
They
Not for
burn
something
mainly
as
for
intense
light.
as this. Yeah.
Well oil.
I don't even know if you can burn tallow.
Dog tallow? Or tallow? Yeah, you can.
Does it catch? It solidifies at room temperature. I'd imagine to make it catch fire, you'd have to have a really hot flame.
Yeah, it's not gonna catch flame easily.
Yeah, you can't start that shit with a fucking match.
Oh
Nope.
no. Oh no.
Anyway, you guys finish out a meager breakfast and start making your way back up towards Amsville, leaving behind the odd destruction of the day before. Horace is pretty well put together for those who are keeping an eye on him. He walks fairly close with the Abyss during most of today's travel. A little bit before midday, he does kind of pull you back a little bit, hanging out back like maybe 100 feet or so from the rest of the group of us, and he's just like, I'm sorry for what you saw last night.
It's fine.
Is he talking to the group or just
He's
No,
pulled her back.
Just her.
Hmm.
I still probably heard it.
Thanks for trying to talk to me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Just kind of awkward. Guys catch up with the rest of the group. Alright. You guys get to the midpoint of your day. The snow starts to come down a bit more heavily as it's picking up. However, despite there being more snow, there's actually less cloud cover. There are points where you guys actually see the sun.
That might not be better.
No! Blinding
No
white.
blind.
Lorelai randomly points in a direction and screams, "Oh my god, what's that?"
I don't know, Lorelai, what is it?
I don't know. Trying to annoy the crew.
I point at Lorelai. It's a dumb.
Clearly.
Alright, you guys stop for your usual midday rest. You guys don't particularly stop to eat during midday, it's more just eating some of your trail rations and doing light activity for about an hour. It's a short rest.
Oh, continuing to read the book.
The journal?
Oh god.
Yes.
Are you ritually casting that spell again?
Yes.
Okay, so you read through for less than an hour. Because you guys only ever stop for an hour.
If it comes to the not good stuff, I'm gonna skip.
Well, starting where you left off, where they were 12-ish years of age, based on the years that were written in there, and the dimension of their 5th birthday being when they were gifted their journal. You get through to about 18, another 6-ish years of reading. A lot of this is he starts his service. He was a member of the Blooded Hand, emphasis on was, as he did leave to join the military, and that's about the last section that you get to. When he's 18, he stops doing assassination work and goes to work for the military. A lot of what he writes down during this point in his life is just lots of torturing for information, assassination descriptions on, killing techniques that he employed. There is a notable assassination that sticks out because he goes in far more detail about the person. Normally he's not very descriptive. It's just like human man, drow woman, just super brief detail. But for one of them, roughly at the age of 14, he goes into detail about a strange, beautiful green woman. She had no hair, an elongated head, no mouth, and as he killed her, she was absolutely silent.
Yeah, I think Lorelai's doing the same thing I'm doing, just blankly staring up away from the book for a moment.
Make a religion check for me.
By the gods. I can find it. Here it is.
It's not that hard.
Wow. Clearly it is that hard. Natural fucking one.
Would you like to use your luck point? Or
Fuck
do you,
it.
You have it one per
I was
day.
gonna say, or do you not care?
Fuck it. It's a 1. I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, no. Whatever he's describing is clearly not humanoid. But the way he describes her, she has an extremely humanoid build. She was fairly muscular. He describes her scent as sweat, blood, and sulfur.
That's oh dear.
He
Sounds
did
like-
say that when he originally encountered her, he heard her voice in his head. But after she told him that she understood why he was here, that was the only thing he heard from her. Aside from that, a lot of it, as I said before, is just assassination contracts until he eventually left the Blooded Hands as a 3rd-tier rank assassin to join the military. Do you share this information today or no?
Yeah, I figured Goof should know. 'cause
Anyone
curious
proficient
about
in
the
religion
woman.
may roll.
Yeah, Lorelai really wants to know what that thing is.
Additionally, Abyss, Valeria.
My
When she mentions 3rd-tier assassin, that means he was 2 ranks above you.
So we're 5th tier?
You're initiates, which means you aren't
Huh.
tiered. But if it were a tier, then you guys would be 5th. No,
All right.
technically you guys would be 6th. Because it goes 4th tier, 3rd tier, 2nd tier, 1st tier, captain, and then the people who run it. Okay, Amartia, you've never encountered these. Your parents used the stories as sort of like cautionary
Tales.
pirate tales. Because
okay, my
what
suspicions
what
are correct.
what Lorelai described was most likely a Yugoloth.
Oh.
Whereas devils are lawful evil and demons are chaotic evil, a Yugoloth is neutral evil. They are mercenaries in a cosmic war. They do not care who they work for. They do not care what they kill. The only thing they care about is the money.
Yeah, that sounds evil.
She was half listening, half not, just because she's trying not to go mental with hearing the torture. But then the description catches her attention, and you see her ears perk up as she remembers, and turns around and says, "I might be mistaken, but that sounds like a Yugoloth."
That word means nothing to anybody but Lufir. Lufir, you, in your studies, you did read a little bit about Yugoloths, but they are so rare outside of the outer planes that legitimately your order believed that they were myth.
Oh,
That's-
apparently they're not.
Concerning.
A Yugoloth, in their usual form, a Yugoloth is telepathic, psionic users, with a heavy emphasis on assassination or overpowering through magic, depending on what kind of a Yugoloth you've run into, I suppose.
Well, that's
They-
certainly
They are
dismissive.
mercenaries for hire in the war between the Nine Hells and the Abyss.
I
occasionally
definitely
other
let the
wars.
click know everything.
For one to be here on the material plane, you are unsure of how that would occur. And the thought is that if one's here, they may have gotten here the same way that your recently sent back to hell devil was,
I didn't do it.
or they might have their own means of getting here. But you're also aware that when a Yugoloth dies outside of its home plane, same as all of the fiends, snap right back to its own plane.
Huh. Well,
That's disturbing.
it's certainly not good.
No. They're like demonic or devilish pirates.
I mean, something like that.
Your
Yeah.
your order just considered them mercenaries.
They're certainly assholes.
I think
No,
we both
what?
agree on that one.
Evil aligned people are assholes? No.
No,
Like,
we
no,
don't have
I'm
a
a
perfect
genuine
example
delight.
of one.
What? No.
I'm a genuine delight to be around, and you all know it.
You are certainly a
Who
delightful
said we were
asshole.
talking about you?
Yeah.
But if the shoe fits,
If the shoe fits, don't joke on it.
Words to live by.
Hey, Nate.
Mm. What?
I'm trying to figure out how to do this in the most comical way to annoy everybody in the group.
oh, Lord.
I think you
Here's
may have
never
already done
good.
it.
No, I'm just trying to figure out like something that would be just comical to Lorelai, and you know what? I'm just gonna make everyone's clothes dirty.
Okay.
Why?
Dirty.
Ow.
So
Dirty.
Lorelai uses prestidigitation to one at a time make you guys' clothes dirty with literal dirt.
Is there still snow on the ground?
Yeah.
I want to pick up a snowball and throw it at her head.
Make a dex check.
Snowball fight!
Dex check.
Mm-hmm. As an improvised weapon.
Eh.
Cool.
Oh,
You
God.
completely whiff it. You pack up a snowball and go to chuck it at Lorelai, and it just puffs into just a cloud of snow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that's a save.
That was both things should be the other one. Nate. Okay, not as good.
Okay, who are you throwing it at?
Right back.
Okay, so yours manages to stay in a ball, but it goes way over Valeria's head.
Can I use
That's
her
how you make a ball.
distraction of Valeria to try and hit her with a snowball?
Sure. More dex checks.
I didn't know if maybe it would give me advantage. I doubted it, but I had to try.
I want to throw another one, but I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, that hits. So as you're distracted watching your snowball go long, Lorelai, Martia beans you in the side of the head.
And then I'm gonna immediately fly up into the air.
I'm just gonna point at her and laugh. Like, ha!
Excellent. Now everyone's feeling better.
And as you say that, Horace, the rest of you watch as Horace just picks up a huge ball, like the size of his head in snow, and just yeet.
No.
At who?
Run!
I'm flying. I'm flying.
This would be +3.
Oh God.
So, Lufir,
Ah!
make a strength save.
A strength save, huh?
hmm
Nope.
Yeah, okay, so
Hey,
as Horace releases a huge snowball, it just poof right into Lufir's chest, and you
Oh,
hit your ground on the hit the ground.
oh Malaka.
Hey,
I'm
Nate,
assuming
I
this
have a
Mhm.
question for you. Can I use shape water to make snowballs in the air because it's still
Oh
snowing?
God.
No.
Damn it!
You can use shape water to pull water out of the snow, but you can't reform it back to snow.
Okay, I figured I'd ask.
You could make an ice ball.
Please
no, I'm
no.
not gonna be that mean.
Oh
I
god.
might save that for.
You
Lorelai
could
if
make
she
small
really pisses
things
me
of
off.
like hail.
We
You
get-
just rain hell on Lorelai.
I'll rain hell over. The tiefling rains hail over everything.
Ice hell.
Ice hell. Nah, I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that idea for a later time. Instead, I'll just swoop down, gather up as much snow as I can, and then just fling it out to see if I can get like a spray.
Okay. In the midst of this battle of snow, Ceruleus
no.
takes a small snowball and flicks it, but it completely misses Abyss.
Nate,
What?
am I able to change spells tonight to a new spell?
It is already day, so no.
No, I mean in the nighttime when we go to sleep and wake up. Am I able to actually change a spell from a spell slot?
You can change out
Later tonight.
a spell.
Okay. I would
Remember,
like
it has
do
to
that
be
then.
the same level.
Yeah, no, I would like to do that. I found something else more useful.
Okey-doke.
Thank you. Just wanted to verify.
Alright. After your brief snowball fight during your short rest in the middle of the day, after Lorelai was spending time reading a book, you guys continue for the rest of the day.
Yay.
As you set up for the night, none of you managed to find anything, so that's 6 rations gone, so you guys are down to 20.
Dum dum dum.
Alright.
In the midst of the night, quite a ways in the distance, you guys can make out the lights of Amsville. You'll be there in the morning.
Well, that's good. It's still there.
I mean, you say this.
Oh,
The
God
lights
damn
are
it.
still there.
No!
The lights are
No,
still there.
Don't tell us the date.
The lights are still
Don't
there.
say that date.
They're all dead.
You guys all sit down for a night's rest. Horace joins you inside the dome. He offers to cuddle with Abyss if she'll have him.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay,
answer for
come
her.
there. What was that?
You know,
Abyss?
if you don't want to cuddle with the NPC, you don't have to.
Okay.
Is that an okay I won't? Or.
Okay, well,
All right.
Oh, that poor NPC.
Yeah, no.
Boy!
All right. You guys have yourselves a long rest. Regain whatever hit dice you were still missing.
Oh yeah. Bop.
You wake up, and sure enough, about 2 hours or so into travel for the day, you guys arrive to Almsville.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is it still there?
None of you have been to Almsville before, but Lufier.
Yee.
Lufier. There's some buildings missing, but it's mostly intact.
Is the tavern that I visited before still intact?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, let's pick ourselves some town music. Yes, no, maybe.
Maybe.
Yes, no, maybe so.
Sure, that works. So, you guys arrive to Almsville. Lufier leads you to a tavern on the far northeastern side. As you enter in, the barkeep just kind of looks up at all of you. Oh, hello. Welcome. You need
How are
any
you
rooms, travelers?
Yes. Rooms for everybody and some dinner or food.
I can.
Breakfast.
That'll be done. You sound mighty familiar.
I came here once before. It's been some weird things that happened since then.
I've got a decent eye for faces, but
Oh, the face is much different.
He's being modest. This is the Lufier. Eh,
Just the
Poor
little fear.
Can.
the Lufier.
oh, you guys say that in character?
Yes.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Cool. So, he gets you guys rooms. It's pretty run. This place is not top of the line. It's like 5 copper per room, 1 person each room.
That's
What
fine.
what happened to the place after I left last time?
The folks got arrested, and then they died in jail. Probably like 2 hours later. We got everything cleaned out. I made a pretty tidy profit selling some of their wares that they left behind.
Oh, that's good.
I got some renovations done with the money.
Oh, I'm very glad everything worked out then. They were not very nice people.
Well, certainly treated me alright, but what would I know? They started a fight, so... He leads you guys to the rooms. Like I said, it's 5 copper per night. It's just a bed and a table with a lamp.
I mean, it's something to sleep on, so.
And when I say lamp, I obviously mean an oil lamp.
Hey, Lufier probably will steal that.
No.
Instead of stealing like a glass, he just steals the whole ass lamp.
No, I mean the oil from the lamp.
That can go in the bag of holding, it's okay.
Hey man,
so
I don't know. My room didn't have a lamp in it.
you guys are all put up in your rooms. Come back down. Is there anything you guys want to do for the day?
What
Standard
supplies do we
Lorelei
need to worry
stuff.
about?
Food.
Rations.
Rations, yeah, definitely is one thing.
There are 6
We're
of
what, at like
you.
20 rations?
Mhm.
You need more arrows, don't you? Because you only have 9, and then a full thing of silver.
No, since because I was able to get half my arrows back. That's how it usually is. You topped me off with the extra 9.
You guys are like
So,
4
I'm
days
fine.
from Hearton on foot. So, surviving just on rations, you only need like 4 more to get you to Hearton, assuming nothing slows your travel.
Okay.
Then we'll have
I'd
to
say
buy
we
more
get
food.
some extra if we can.
And we'll have to buy more food for our travel across the sea.
That's part of commissioning a ship, though.
Yeah, we can take care of that in Hearton. We just need to get to Hearton.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Well, actually, we don't
Yeah.
need to save that much money. We got a shit ton.
Not gilded iron level, but yeah.
No,
Decent amount.
but this is the most money I've had on my person, as far as I know.
Oh, yeah. You can add some of that to the group funds, i.e. the bag of holding, if you want.
Oh, probably just put all the platinum toward, or not the platinum, maybe half the platinum towards a ship.
Okay, that...
Doesn't sound like a bad idea. Any woozles. So,
Currently the
yeah, I
party
think the
fund
main
is
thing
sitting
is
at-
rations. I want to check to see if there is an apothecary here.
Okay. So, apothecary for Martia. Who else is going where?
I'm gonna just I'm gonna ask the bartender or owner where he sold the gear at for the people.
I'll go
Okay,
with Martia.
he kind of gives you some rough directions to a pawn shop.
I'm gonna go look around for that.
Okay, Valeria is going with Martia. Lorelei or Abyss, either of you want to do anything while you're in Namsville?
Lorelei does the standard Lorelei.
What's
Okay.
everybody
Let's
else
just try and
doing?
start a
Make
parade.
bardic
Amartia
relations.
and Valeria are going to get rations and visit the apothecary. Lufir is going to a pawn shop.
Help get some rations.
Okey-doke. So, first
Hello?
and
The females
foremost,
go to the apothecary. Okay.
save for Lorelei. All right, Lorelei, go ahead and roll a performance to street perform.
Today is going to be a horrible roll.
Lorelei is the female. She's a
That was a
nuisance.
6.
Jeez, that was horrible.
I've seen worse.
Yeah, but I've
Could've
been
been a one.
consistently bad today. 6 has like been a number I've been rolling a lot.
Well, it's a good performance. There are, people do stop as they're passing by and listen for a little bit before returning to whatever they're out and about doing.
Particularly the performance is going to focus on the Gilded Iron and... What's that stupid town of ours called?
The
Ironhold?
Champions of Iron?
There you go.
Gilded
Gotta
Iron
spread.
is last campaign. You guys like iron a lot.
We sure do.
I mean,
Yeah, next
there
game,
was a reason
guys,
for this one.
next
don't know
game,
about the
guys,
other
are going to be called the Platinum Bitches.
Platinum bitches.
No.
You're
I
all
don't think
going to
that's
be
gonna
succubus, incubus, tieflings.
All right.
I am not making that many characters. Fuck that.
No, you don't have to. We make them.
No, he meant in the modeling
Thing.
software.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so Lorelei begins to put on a show for those who are willing to stop in the midst of a snowy early morning. It's a weird time to perform in the middle
Hey,
of
man,
winter
gotta make people
outside.
It's
feel good.
Lorelei. When is it a weird time?
Interesting note, in order to play your flute, you can't wear gloves. So whenever you start putting on a performance for too long, you have to stop and take a break to warm your fingers.
Yeah, I know where
Because
to warm up.
it's winter. I
are
wouldn't
fingers
put
with
them
gloves.
anywhere down there.
Bruh, you put them in the armpits. Jesus Christ. How we did it in the army. When people would get cold, they'd shove their hands into their armpits.
That's what people usually do anyway, right?
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Right in
Freaking
between their legs.
They
when they're
trying to
sitting
chill
down.
the nether.
Sit on them. Anyway.
I smelled some nether.
Abyss, Amartia, and Valeria. One of you roll investigation to find a place to stock up on rations, first and foremost.
I
Advantage.
to
vote
do it.
someone, not me, because I don't have investigation.
I have a 10.
So you.
Excuse me.
And do you want to? I was about to say, do you want guidance? But I don't think you need it.
I don't think I need it, but I appreciate it. Maybe next time.
You may not want to cast magic too willy-nilly.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you guys are in town again.
Right.
Alright, with a
Forget
20,
about this.
you managed to find a... It's basically a storehouse that just sells food. It's mostly used for restaurants and inns to stock up on things, but they do keep a supply of rations and things to make rations, so you guys can purchase a pretty hefty quantity. How much do you want to buy? Usual conversion rate, 2 gold, or 1 gold for 2 rations.
I'd say 5 gold for 10 rations, just to be safe. Because we just need to get to Hearton, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the winter, though, rations keep a lot easier than usual, so... Well, not in the bag of holding, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, you heard him, guys. Everybody, we're just gonna throw rations on our belts. We'll be walking around with food on our belts.
You do that already.
Yeah, that's
Look,
kind
my
of
ass doesn't count.
No, a ration isn't... I'm not talking like a military ration in like a small pouch or a tin. I'm talking like they give you a
Hardtack?
tiny pouch of food with like hardtack, dried berries, dried meats, maybe a little bit of cheese if you're lucky.
Yeah, no, that's what I've been thinking.
Yeah, and all of that goes on a small pouch on your belt unless it's being stored in your pack. They come in like small paper wrapping. And you usually eat them throughout the entirety of the day, not all at once, because hardtack is hard to eat.
Yeah. Plus, it's not good to eat all at once anyways, otherwise your stomach will just be like, hi, where's more food? It's better to parcel it out.
Okay, so
I mean,
5
do we
gold
want to buy
from
more?
someone.
I can pay the 5 gold.
I was gonna say I'll just throw it down, but sure. If you
Cool.
want
You guys can add 10 rations to the bag of holdings inventory, which is in your magic items area.
to. Yep.
And all of you should be capable of editing it.
Yeah, because I added the money into the gold.
Also, let me put the brutal Makuhito into Lufier's fucking tab.
Ta-da!
I did already.
Adjusted it.
No, it's on your sheet, but not
Oh.
in your magic item tab. Because remember, each of you has your own tab.
True.
I also need to remind myself I have a snuggle beast.
Do you? They're Lorelai's snuggle beasts
Didn't Lorelai give me the unicorn?
for that rest. I don't know if she gave it to you permanently. It doesn't sound like Lorelai.
I don't remember. I think I gave it to her permanently, but I don't remember why.
Yeah,
I did.
because it's
You
in
didn't
my
like the
inventory.
unicorn.
You didn't care about the unicorn, and it was a moment of weird because
Yeah, that's right. It
Amartia-
was. It was.
Oh
you were
yeah, it was a
upset
moment of
about
weird
something.
kinship because we're both childish about something. Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. So yeah, she does have the better of the two.
Okay, I mean, I
Because
can
she
make
has
a,
an attachment to the owlbear.
just make a copy of this, I guess.
Yeah, I
Or-
keep forgetting
or I'll
I
just
have it.
move
I
it-
just looked in my.
I'll just move it
written
out into the
inventory and-
general tab instead of you guys'
Yeah,
individual
because that's
ones.
the horror. That's the horror. Gets passed around. Mostly because it does better.
You're calling the unicorn a whore? How dare you?
You don't know its past life and what it went through.
What did it have to do with feed its kids? Anyways. Moving on to the apothecary.
Yep. Another investigation from someone at advantage because you're being helped.
I'm looking at Valeria.
Oh, well, I didn't do it at advantage. But
Doesn't matter.
Uh,
It's not like
I'm
you
gonna be away
needed a
from the
higher
keyboard for a
roll.
few minutes.
Okay.
I do
Uh,
need your
Yeah,
stuff,
it's a very small shop near the edge of town. It doesn't have a sign of any kind, but there are, the door's half open. The top half is open, and you can see inside there's plants on display. A kind of disheveled looking man greets you as you approach the door. Yes, what can I do for you?
Was wondering if you might happen to have healing potions in stock, regular and greater.
Oh, well, I may have a little bit. Let's see, and he opens up the bottom half of the door and lets you guys inside. Closes the bottom half again once you're in. Well, I certainly got them regular healing potions.
How many do you
Might
have?
Oh, he takes a small, milk carton tray, but for very smaller vials, and sets it down. He's got 4 regular healing potions.
Remind me how much. Those are 50 a pop, right?
Mhm.
Damn it. Okay.
Starts digging around underneath his counter. I got 1 greater. And he sets a slightly larger vial down on the counter.
And Marty is kind of.
And I have 1 superior.
Oh, whoa. She looks at her coin.
That one's hard to sell.
Let me guess. It's a bit spendy, isn't it?
Because it takes a very long time to distill.
Mm.
A regular healing potion is sufficient, but in order to make a higher quality, it has to be properly distilled. Like a fine wine.
I'm looking at my coin. I'll just take 1 regular healing potion.
For sure. And he takes 1 out and hands it towards you. That'll be 50 gold. Oh, given your little kit there, and he motions towards your herbalism kit, I could help you stock it with some to make your own.
I have some ingredients already. I just haven't had time to actually make some.
Well, give me a show, and maybe I can help you shore up what you don't have.
Sure. She'll undo the kit at her belt and
Okay.
show him what she's got in there.
You
I've got like
have
3 things from Selwick. Or no, was it Selwick? Yes, it was from Selwick.
You have ingredients for potions of healing, but you only have 1 of them, and for how many potions?
I see a 3. Like I had enough for 3 potions.
Okay, so you. Well, the 30 gold. I can give you the rest of what you need for them 3 potions.
Counts out the stuff and holds out her platinum. All right, that works.
Okay, so all told, that's 8 platinum.
All told, that's 8 platinum.
Yeah, because 5 for the potion and 3 for the 3 potions ingredients.
I give him 3 platinum and 50 gold because I only had 3 platinum.
All right. What about Abyss or Valeria? Either of you want to buy potions?
No.
No.
Okay.
Are you sure you don't? I mean, I am
I'll
going to give out
buy-
several of the potions I have because I realized I had a lot more potions of healing before.
I'll buy a couple of potions. How much are potions?
50 gold
50 gold.
for
I have
standard.
1.
For what?
For
Standard.
standard healing potion.
Okay, I'll buy 50 of those would be... Well, not 50. I mean, 50 gold
Oh my
for
god.
1. So about 3 would be 150.
I think I just
I'll
had a
buy
heart attack.
3.
You'll buy
What?
3 healing potions?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 150 gold. But because you guys are buying him out of his stock, he will knock off 10 gold, so 140. Buying in stock is a good way to get discounts.
Yeah. I just didn't have enough.
Okay, so 140 gold exchanged, and you now have 3 potions of healing. You can add them from the compendium if you need to.
I put them in my sheet.
He still has the potion of greater and a superior. Man, if you guys have potions, you should use them more.
I know, I forget, but I'm also usually far away, so I'm actually going to do something after this little trip to be like, hi guys, here's potions.
Drink this.
I honestly forgot I had potions.
Cool. Well, if that's everything you guys wanted to pick up from the apothecary,
Yep.
we will flip over to Lufir.
Ah.
Go ahead and make me a investigation. It's a very low DC. That is good enough. Okay, following the directions the innkeep gave you, you do find a smallish building. It does have a sign, although it is illegible. The door is unlocked and you let yourself in, and it is a very small shop with all sorts of things all over the place. They have one wall that seems to be mostly weapons and armor. Another wall has got like everything from books to tools to like miscellaneous knickknacks. The other wall is just covered in different clothes and masks and makeup kits.
I just try to like not bump into anything as I walk through the shop.
Okay. It's not cluttered per se. It's just not very organized.
Okay. Still bull in a shop, I guess. I'm just gonna kind of look for anything that I think the priests would have had.
Okay. Maybe a perception check, I suppose.
Maybe advantage because I've seen it before.
No. Okay. You don't see anything that would denote the silver hand. This place kind of has a little bit of everything. There's various different armors, light, heavy, and medium. It's got a couple of shields. There's weapons on the wall. There might be stuff that they owned here, but you have no clue.
Alright, I'll look for the owner of the shop, I guess.
Okay. As you continue searching around the shop, you do hear a door open. And stepping out from an open doorway, there is a very well put together human female. She's got long brown hair in a ponytail in the back and very noticeable yellow eyes.
Yellow eyes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yellow.
Hello.
Oh, hi there.
I was told that you came into possession of a few items from some rowdy tavern goers not too long back.
Oh, sure, we get sold everything that gets left behind in the inns.
I was wondering if you still have these items.
If you were a little more specific, maybe, but pretty much everything in this shop's from some layabout or criminal.
How can I put this? They started a pretty big fight at the local inn.
Sir, unless you can be specific about an item, I can't help you.
Armor, weapons, different types, mostly silver.
Silver. Okay, I can work with silver. That is specific enough. I do have. She goes over to the back wall where a lot of the weapons and armor are being displayed. She pulls out a chest that's set on the counter and opens it up. I've got, let's see, they had a silvered rapier and silver daggers. This probably isn't what you're looking for, but I do happen to have some silver jewelry as well. Let's see, and a silver-tipped whip.
I've had helpful use, like, a while back. I had my own made. Is that all the weapons that they had?
I mean, these aren't even from the same people. The rapier is from a man like 5 years back. The dagger is from some gentleman from, a couple weeks ago. And then the whip's been here longer than I have, so.
Is there anything special about this whip?
No, it's just silver.
Okay. I guess
Helps fight ghosts or whatever.
I just kind of hold up my whip and with silver tip.
Ooh, spiky.
Yes. I was kind of hoping to see if they had any armor left behind, but I guess maybe the guards partook of it.
I imagine if they were wearing it, the guards probably confiscated it, and it's probably in their armory.
Could you point me toward the guardhouse then?
Oh, sure. I don't know if they'll let you in, but the guardhouse is at the far eastern side of town. It won't be that hard to miss. It's the biggest building in the city.
Thank you very much for all your help.
Oh, sure. Is there anything I can help you with before you go? As you can see, you kind of got lots of things.
Do you have anything of, magical, or at least a little bit more helpful than normal?
You watch her eyes kind of squint in your direction a little bit. Magical like your whip there?
I mean, I wouldn't consider it too magical, but something along those lines, yes.
It's certainly magical. Well, gosh, I've sold most of any kind of magical item to larger cities. You will not believe what some of the mages will pay for things up in Wildermyth. Well, I do have an item, but I've been told not to sell it for very cheap. That the guy who identified it couldn't even afford it. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess that one's out of your price range, unless you're rolling in way more money than I think you are.
How much is it?
Oh, he said the minimum to charge for it was $1 million.
Holy. Holy Malaka.
Yeah, something about powers strong enough to destroy the world or something.
Oh my god.
I mean, it sounds amazing, but no, I definitely do not have that much.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever find a buyer for that one, and honestly, not sure if I should be selling it.
I mean, I would like it, but no, I don't think that should just be handed out to anybody.
Well, you passed my test. So, come on. And she leads you through the open doorway into the back room. You do see very prominently displayed in a lead-lined glass box is an orb.
Oh god.
Hmm.
I'm having flashbacks.
That's the item. We'll leave it be. Go ahead, take yourself a look around. You do see there's not too much on display, but she has very ornate display boxes, all locked, of course. There is a dagger, a couple of rings, a necklace, and A stuffed animal in the
Okay.
shape of a dragon.
I have to ask, what does the dragon do?
Well, according to the man who identifies my wares, it is an item that you keep close to you and will help to heal you.
Really?
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of experience in, injuries, but it would certainly help in your line of work. I do assume you are an adventurer, given you're asking about magic stuffs, and
That you are correct.
your attire.
How much for the dragon?
For the dragon, he said minimum was okay. 1,000 gold.
I am afraid that I can't really do that one either. As much as it would
That's
help
all right.
me. At most, I kind of look at my little pouch. Got 252.
You do have the party funds because you are the one who carries the bag of holding.
Yeah, but that's a party decision. There's only 700 in there. I also got 17 platinum.
Yeah,
that's
that made
a lot.
Well, perhaps one of the rings.
Can you tell me what they do?
Well, that one there, and she points to a simple iron ring with a reddish glow. That one is he said it was a ring of warmth. Apparently it helps you shake off the cold.
It does sound useful in the winter months.
Oh, definitely. The other one, probably a little bit out of your price range again. It is called a Ring of Resistance. You see set in this ring, which is a simple golden ring with etched runes, is a topaz.
Which color? What? There's multiple colors of topaz.
The color actually doesn't matter in this instance.
Nah, not really, but still. Good to know.
It's kind of an orangish hue.
Is that all the rings that you have?
Those are the only ones I have that are magic. You gotta understand, the man who comes by to identify them for me usually buys most of the useful items.
That's understandable. How much is the ring of resistance?
That one is that one's also over 1,000.
He just kind of hangs his head a little bit. It's understandable.
1,250 is that one's price.
How much for the ring of warmth?
The Ring of Warmth is much more affordable. The Ring of Warmth is 250 gold.
I'm taking that out of the party funds. I just kind of reach in the bag of holding. I can do that one. I can put this back later.
Okay, so that brings it down to 454.
Editing now.
And she hands you the Ring of Warmth, which I will give you the sheet for, because she does describe what it does, so you are aware of its properties.
Better let the others know about the dragon here.
Ring of warmth.
I let her know that I might have some friends come by and take a look at the place to see if they want to buy anything.
Well, just make sure you're tagging along with them and I'll recognize you.
Absolutely.
Alright, well, you have yourself a lovely day, sir.
You as well. Thank you.
You make your way out, and are you heading directly for the guard barracks?
Yeah.
Cool.
At least take a look at anything.
It is not hard to find.
It's kind of big.
As you approach, there are guards on duty, standing and watching the doorway. As you approach, one of them puts a hand up. Greetings, what business have you?
Hello. I'm not sure if you were at the tavern when the two attendants went kind of crazy and attacked the place.
You'll have to be more specific, sir.
I recall back and told them the date of when it happened. Keen mind.
It's been within a month, so yeah. One of them heads inside, and the other one's just kind of stood there with you.
It's a nice day, isn't it?
It's pretty cold.
As I look down at my ring. Oh,
Your ring requires attunement.
I think I have maybe one slot.
Thought you could be.
It requires an hour to attune to an item. Do you have to, like, file your horns?
Not I haven't so far, no. You know, walking through small places, it can be quite annoying.
Well, I can imagine.
I'm pretty sure. I'm surprised actually. I haven't got my tail caught in the door.
He just kind of looks around you at your tail for a moment.
Flick it. Not quite used to having to deal with things like this as much.
Oh.
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 You say so. The other one comes back out pretty quickly. Yes, I have a record of 2 arrests and deaths on that day.
I was just and I completely understand if you can't, but I was wondering if any armor or weaponry were taken from them after they were imprisoned.
We have on record confiscation of 1 set of plate mail, 1 set of enchanted robes, and 2 weapons.
Would it be at all possible if I could take or at least look at some of the weapons or armor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Once confiscated by the guards, everything is retrofit to be used by the guards.
Is there anyone, no offense, higher up I can talk to?
Okay, Karen.
I guess you could talk to the captain, but considering he's the one wearing the plate armor, it's gonna be pretty hard for you to convince him to leave it.
I'm not really interested in the plate armor, more of the robes. And maybe the weapons if they are usable. But I can at least ask.
Tells you to wait and heads back inside. You're left outside with the same one. You already got a pretty good weapon there.
Yes, but I don't know what my party might need.
I
It's
don't
always good to
imagine
look.
2 silver daggers are much use to you.
Oh, you'd be surprised what silver can do.
Not really.
Besides, it's, again, just a just in case kind of thing.
Couple of minutes go by of awkward conversation with the guard before the first guard comes back out. Captain says he won't see you.
Oh, okay. Well, when you get the chance to tell him to say Luffy Morcan would like to speak to him at some point in time again.
Oh, you're that guy.
I am the...
I don't suppose anybody's told you.
Tell me what?
Your restaurant in town. it kind of got destroyed.
Oh.
I'm assuming he means an art wall.
No.
No.
Lufir's
Oh.
Lufir has 2 restaurants, one in Ogrelal and one here in Almsville.
Oh.
What happened?
Somebody came through town and started ripping through buildings.
What do you mean somebody? Were they stopped?
Oh yeah, they were. We got to them eventually, but they had already ripped down 3 buildings.
And there's nobody set to rebuild?
Processes have been started. This was about 3 days ago. Your workers are dead.
I just kind of like rubbed the bridge of my nose.
Weren't you supposed to be an elf?
It's a long story.
Well, it's not like
Yeah.
I've ever been into your establishment.
And
Impressive
it just got
fucking
longer.
place.
Trust me, it's worth the price. I tell you what, if things get built back together, tell them that I sent you. You'll get 50% off.
And they're gonna believe me that a Minotaur told me that I got 50% off.
What do you
They
want as
should.
proof?
I mean, a letter would probably be good.
Go get me paper and pen.
Just come inside and motions for you to follow him in. The entrance floor is very much what you would expect for given your time in a guard barracks. It's just a couple of tables, some chairs. He motions you over to a nearby table where there's paper and an inkwell.
Pretty cozy in here.
It's warmer than outside.
True.
Okay. Sit down and write out a letter of
I will put it that all
future
guards,
discount.
the guards shall get 50% off.
Oh, all guards. So like a service member discount.
Yep.
Except not for the military.
Yeah.
Because these guys are not members of Feyguard. They are Almsville guards. After you finish writing out and after he notices that you wrote it for all guards, he just kind of looks down at you and then goes to hang it up on the wall somewhere. Well, like I said, rebuild will get going once the snow starts clearing out. Easier to build in sunnier days.
Well, I am glad at least the rebuilding is starting. I will have to hire new workers. That's going to be a pain.
Things about the
He
last worker you had.
runs to a nearby room and comes out with some paperwork. I need you to sign these real quick. This is the rebuild form, and this is for the deceased.
Okay.
You spend the next couple of minutes signing some forms, and he does inform you that while none of your workers survived, there is a out of work chef that you could potentially hire in while you're gone. They would do, some of the hiring. You'd have to spend time teaching them your menu.
I will leave a copy of the menu behind. Only for the restaurant. I can't leave the restaurant.
Well, then you won't be leaving anything behind because there is no restaurant right now.
Well, I meant eventually I'm gonna write a thing down for the restaurant itself.
All right then. So,
Yeah.
while you're in the midst of signing forms, he does inform you that some of the other buildings that were destroyed, in case you care, Although you are aware of what ones they are, you did work in this building for quite a few years. The building directly across the street from yours, which specialized in creating dishes, plates, bowls, forks, knives, cups. Yeah. Which was run by an elderly couple, both deceased. A building directly next to theirs, which specialized in let's see. Next to them would have been the old apothecary. The actual town apothecary. It was the tea leaf shop for you, because that's what you went there for, tea leaves. And it was run by a very kind and eccentric purple tiefling by the name of Tea Leaf.
Hang on a second.
Also deceased.
Oh. How many deaths were there?
All told, there were 4 civilian deaths, 2 guard deaths, and your 3 workers. So technically, 7 civilian deaths. Sorry, your 2 workers. One of your workers got arrested back in Ardwall.
Oh, okay. I remember that now. So what happened to the person who did this?
Oh, they're in one of the cells.
Can I talk to them?
No. Mostly because they have a gag at all times.
That's fair.
Yeah, they do some things that mess with your brain.
Oh, that's definitely glad they're gagged then. Do I see him at least?
Nope.
Okay.
This is not the jail.
That's next door.
Yeah, we got wizards from Wildermyth are coming to pick him up and escort him to the magical jails underneath the Wilderwood.
Okay. I thank you very much for the time. And
Thanks for coming by and signing all your paperwork. We can move things along a little quicker now.
it's definitely going to take a while, but
Yeah, quite a while. Especially since wintertime.
yeah, definitely. Alright, I will get out of your hair now.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. And he takes his helmet off and you see he's bald.
Look here, literally just like one of his eyes switch, trying not to laugh. Like,
You see he just kind of kicks his foot a little bit. Damn, that usually works.
well, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day, and tell the captain that he's more than welcome at the restaurant once it's built. You guys, of course. And I get up and just kind of start to leave.
Cool. So everybody starts to meet back up at the tavern. Probably mid-afternoon, about 3-ish.
Yep.
Lorelai is warming her hands near a small fire after her day performing. Okay, then. I was waiting to see what you were typing, and that's it. I'm lit. So Lorelai's high.
I mean, yeah, that fits her. Once everybody's gathered around, Amardia starts dishing out potions to everyone, including Horace. Each person gets 1 regular healing potion. It's like, keep
Horace
these
is actually
on
not
you.
present.
He is not.
Nope.
Okay, she's middle of giving them out, and then gets to the last one and is like, turns to Abyss. Where's Horace? Did he tell you where he was going?
Did he?
No.
Where the
But
fuck
he
is he
cared
then?
enough to ask.
What the fuck did you type? You typed fire high, bitches. Which I assumed was you misspelling fighter high, which makes no sense.
No, I typed fire wrong. I don't even know what I was trying to type. Just, I don't know.
You've lost it.
Can I
Anywho,
see
Yes.
this
She's
out?
you've also
high.
lost Horace.
Did Lorelai see him while playing her intense flute playing?
I don't know. Make a perception check.
Remembrance.
Like an after the fact perception check.
Nope, I didn't see shit.
No, he did not.
Per usual. Can I sniff out Horace?
His scent is not. None of you have his scent, so.
Hey, why don't you just go smell
Amartya,
Abyss there?
What?
can you see if Bubo can take a look for us?
I can try to send him off, and I scooch at Bubo and give step outside to give him the command to fly up high, see if he can spot Horace.
Okay, make a perception check for Bubo.
I will, and then I have to pause because I'm getting a phone call. 1 sec.
That name fucking kills me. Every time she says Boobo, I laugh a little.
Well, she already went deaf and she did not make the roll, so I'll make it.
Damn it, woman.
Bubo, perception +3.
Yep.
Has advantage. Oh, it was already toggled on. My bad. Well,
Oh my god, really? It just keeps getting better.
23. I don't know why she rolled perception. This was for Bubo.
Yeah, you said roll a perception check for Bubo.
Yeah, she rolled for Amartya.
Oh, no, Nate. What she did was she was running a perception check on the perception Boobo was doing to make sure he did it right.
No, but okay.
Anyway, Bubo does a lap around town before returning.
Hi.
Hi, you clicked on the wrong thing. Anyway, Bubo does a lap
Sorry.
around town with his natural 20. Comes back and lands back on your shoulder and...
Ooh.
I mean... Can't really communicate with you effectively, but he just lands on your shoulder and pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat.
Okay, so I could be wrong in this, but could give some, because it's like when dogs try to search out for people, could give an indication that yes, he saw him, and then I follow him to where he saw Horace. Like a series of hoots that lets me know, hey, yes, I did. No, I did not. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So does it give me the indication of
He
no?
gives
or
you the
yes?
indication that he did locate Horace.
Okay. Then I ask him to show me and have him fly. And I'll
Okay.
fly after him.
Cool. So Bubo takes off, and you take off after Bubo. About a minute or two into the air, you hear people shouting at you from a little bit below you. Hey! Hey! What are you doing?
Uh-oh.
Looking for it!
Their guards are calling at you.
Ugh.
Wait, flying is a... Oh.
Yeah, you know, it's almost like flying is rare. Also, Bubo is faster than you, so it amounts to Bubo going forward and then stopping and waiting, and then you catching up, and then Bubo going forward and stopping and waiting.
Yeah, well, not going well now.
Nope.
Fucking fine. I've plopped down.
You will be fined.
Oh, Oh, you're
it's
tiefling.
It's not illegal to fly.
not in Wildermyth.
Freaking better.
There
than
are-
illegal to-
There are legal landing zones.
Yeah, you gotta look for the helipad next time.
And there wasn't
Why
one this time.
Why would a town like this have a helipad?
This one
Yeah,
doesn't.
Oh, no.
Precisely my point.
Wildermyth
Anyway.
does. Wildermyth has a lot of rules about flying. Because, you know, of Ariel. Anyway, you land, the guard said, oh hey, you're a tiefling. Hi.
Hi.
You have business in the air?
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine, and this was the easiest way, which I was about to go grab him. But I see
You-
best in the air.
Make a persuasion check.
Why do you hate me so much? Okay, that's not the worst.
Oh. Alright, well,
Yeah.
I should probably
Thank you.
tag along on the ground to make sure. But, you go ahead and you can resume your flying, I guess.
Thank you, sir.
Just, in the future, just let a guard know.
Sorry.
I've been
not
chasing you for the
from-
last 2 minutes.
Not from here. Sorry.
Oh, I get it. We don't usually get any kind of flying peoples, except for the mages.
Fair.
Yeah, you go ahead, and I'll try and keep up on the ground, and I'll let everybody else know that we're looking for someone.
Gotcha. Thank you. And I'll take back up to the air.
Okay, you see Bubo's still perched on the nearby rooftop waiting, and then once he sees you, he flits off back in the direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is kind of a heavy metal clanking as this guard in his chainmail is just
Clinking. Damn, Lorelai should be chasing after everybody with the flute.
No, you should be chasing after everybody with a tuba. There's a very heavy metal man running through town.
Oh, no, then you know what we need? We totally need a metal guitar.
Yeah, and they're
Metal.
invented right now. Anyways, so do I find Horace?
You arrive to where Bubo leads you. Make your perception check.
Okay. I can't use my 26 from before.
No.
No.
An accidental roll does not count.
That's shit.
Glancing around, he's not trying to hide. You spot a half-orc. It is not Horse, though.
Womp.
But Bubo flies right on over and circles around that half-orc.
Except, okay. Oh. This is wonderful. Why do I have this owl again? Nice job, Bubo, but not quite right.
From the ground, the guard calls up to you. Hey, did you find,
I'll just come back down. That is a negative. And she'll, before she came back down, she calls Bubo back so that he can be perched on her horn. No.
Well, he
did
must have
not
moved off.
respond.
If you give me a
Wow,
description,
that
I
makes
can get some guards circulating.
He's half orc, about yay tall. Gives a just basically as best of a description as she can.
Okay, as you're giving a description, he's kind of looking around. Oh, hey, there's a half-orc. But then after you mention the cloak, oh, yeah, no cloak on him.
No.
Okay, half-orc cloak. Wait. You just Court of the Springs cloak?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And he starts panicking. And he just runs off. You see him frantically shouting at every guard he starts passing. We've got a missing member of the court! We've got a missing member of the court!
She kind of pinches her nose and is like, I don't know if that's wrong or right, but oh, this is a pain.
And just let him keep going with that.
That, I mean, again, I don't know if it's correct or wrong. It's like I can make assumptions, but I don't want to. I'm not gonna rat him out though, in case it's hush. But anyways, just sighs.
Head back to the tavern.
Oh, duck. Yeah, since
Okay.
that failed.
Or did it?
Make your way to the tavern. The rest of you waiting around begin eating some late afternoon snack. Marty arrives probably about 45 minutes after she left.
That was interesting.
About 3 minutes or so after Amartia arrives, you hear a guard just running by, full metal, just clink, clink, clink. There's a court member missing!
Did you do?
Amari just puts her hand on her face. I just went looking for him because I thought my owl found him. A guard got spooked because flying people aren't a thing here most of the time. And then escorted me to where we thought he was. He was not there. Boobo got mixed up. And when he said, hey, give me a description and maybe I'll find him, I gave him a description and that happened. She just points in the gestures in the direction of the guard. Just running.
So, you've got everybody in the dizzy.
Well, I don't intend to. I just...
But we are missing a court member.
Maybe, yes. I don't... Well, he
has
a
the cloak.
He has a cloak, but... How
Is it his
a court
cloak?
member in us is weird.
It'll be easier to find him that way.
Or worse, if he's, trying to hide.
Now I really wish I had the locate spell.
Locate object spell.
No, locate person spell, because I can take that and it's like level 2 or 3.
Is it? Hang on.
I was just looking at it a little while ago. Anyone within 1,000
Okay.
feet, I can detect them.
Creature. It's a level 4 spell.
Oh, yeah, I could have done it.
Yeah, describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. And as long as it's within 1,000 feet of you.
Candy.
Well, now what do we do?
Wait to see if the guards find him? Unless you guys have a better idea on how to find him. Because frankly, I'm...
Do we have anything
worried about it
he
myself.
touched at all?
I have an idea on how to find him.
How?
We leave him be. He's run away. Clearly, the events of yesterday have taken a toll on him. And his...
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. If he's just ran off... But
He's gonna go home. This is too much
He's-
for him.
He might
he's
die
far
going
from
back.
home. hard enough with the five of us when we travel. Imagine him by himself. At least he has people to rely on in case shit goes down. Bandits and everything. Especially since he's a half-orc. Bandits don't give a shit about papers.
I don't think he's that stupid. I think you'll find someone. So the best place to go is
I'm not talking
anywhere with a
stupid.
cart.
I'm talking unlucky. And we all should know about being unlucky.
Find a place where the people are traveling, a cart station, somebody he can hire. Go there, you'll find them there likely.
First time
In the midst of this conversation argument, a strange gentleman comes and sits at your table.
As they sit, she's like mid sentence and just stops and is like, hi?
Hello.
You
Hi.
buying us a beer? Or an ale?
I mean, I could pay if you want, but no, I just came to sit down.
Okay.
What is he, Nate?
He looks like a male shifter.
Wait,
Wait, like
Abyss
he
is
looks
race?
like Abyss?
Yeah,
He
he's
looks
got
like a
yellowish.
male
He's got yellowish skin, some particularly hairy arms, and pure black hair.
And
Okay.
our
Or like,
table's
look.
not like is our table like I don't want to say private, but it's like off to the side type of
You
thing,
guys
not
were kind of
necessarily
the only
something
ones
hungry.
here.
True.
Lorelai
So
will
there's
take
other
a look.
tables.
Yeah.
Lorelai will take a look directly at him and says, "Well, I'd flirt with you, but you seem to be more." And I pointed at his her type.
I mean, I would hope so. We are together. Oh, and you see as he
Gloria's eyes
reaches up,
widen.
he reaches up to his face, and you guys watch as he pulls off an illusory mask that fades to nothingness, and sitting before you is Horus.
What?
I owe my owl an apology because you sneaky bastard.
I just pat him on the head. Calm down.
Tell me to calm down one more time and I will bite that hand.
At
Shall
least
do
we
it.
know Abyss can't get bored by his looks anymore.
You have to understand. He needed to do something.
And he's done it.
Yeah, I actually had a pretty nice time around town.
Yes,
Good
I have
for
a
you.
question for you, Horus.
Yeah,
She face palms. Oh dear.
Are you a member of the court?
I don't know.
Uh,
So I suppose it's time to have a story. How about I buy you guys a round of drinks first? And he points towards the martini juice and beer
As
and motions
always.
to everybody else.
as
We're going to
always.
need it.
He orders a round and comes back and sits back down with you guys. So before I start telling my story, does anybody have any specific questions? Or do you want to save them to the end?
Till the end.
Till the end. You
Till
might
the end.
answer them already.
Fair. Okay, so the night I didn't sleep.
Uh-huh.
I kind of have a lot going on.
Uh-huh.
No shit.
Yeah, no, several of you approached me, and I appreciate you checking in. I was having a very bad time.
Uh-huh.
Clearly.
I did not want to be seen having that bad time. Especially not by you, and motions towards Abyss, but does not look at her. Yeah. After a lot of my meltdown, and a lot of my emotions had been let out, and I was feeling better, the Spring Prince approached me himself.
And Lufir just kind of like takes have the beers arrived yet?
Yes.
He just takes a slow drink with one eyebrow raised as high as he can get it.
Okay,
Nate?
Rock.
Mm-hmm.
If he described the person, would I recognize if they're the Spring Prince or not? Like, actually the Spring Prince? Just an envoy?
I mean, yeah, history check with advantage.
Okay.
Let me see if I have. I know I have
20.
character sheets for these guys, so let me just see if I have a description for them.
Mm-hmm.
Holy character.
That's winter. That's summer.
Yeah, no, we're not dealing with Mab.
Spring. All right. So a lot of the seasonal lords do not particularly walk around town often. However, he does give a very precise and exact description of Vazdiel, the Queen of Spring.
Queen? I thought he
Queen.
said it was a prince.
Her title is Queen. However, they are all androgynous, and any formal title can be given to them. Most of them prefer Lord, but Prince, Princess, Queen, King, they're all technically correct.
Oh, okay.
Their pronouns are he, she, because they don't care.
I'm already listens for a bit and then nods. Yeah, that sounds like the Queen.
The Queen.
Yes, Queen.
It's getting weird.
Anyway, so they approached me and offered me abilities to assist me with, the shit that went down. The really bad shit. So, I made a deal. She gave me the cloak as a symbol of her power, I guess, and also my eyes. And a couple of other things, like the mask that I can use. And as he says that, he summons the mask in his hand. What you guys see is just a plain white mask.
So he's like a spy.
But as he puts it over his face, he makes his appearance look like Lufier.
The fuck? Like old Lufier or this Lufier?
Oh, not old Lufier. He didn't meet Elven Lufier, so he doesn't know what he looks like.
Can I borrow that for a moment?
Why?
He takes it off and hands it towards you.
Can I put it on and try to take
As you grasp it, your fingers slip through.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not real. They said it's called a mask of many faces. Also, I can do some magic things now.
Huh.
It's all the cloak, but I guess I get to keep it, and so long as, I help Fairwin and I help deal with the invaders in whatever way I see fit, then I'll get to keep it, and I'll get more powers if I do good. So,
Yay?
he just kind of shrugs.
And all you were asked to do was to defend Verowyn.
I have to go deal with those people. Not alone, but,
Way to do it.
they seem pretty... They seem really, non-specific. Almost like they didn't care when I got it done, just so long as it happened. Even if it were, 10 years from now.
Does that sound like... to me, I think
That definitely sounds like
Faye.
Faye. Because of their exceptionally long lives, they have no grasp of time.
Yeah, that checks out. That checks out.
Yeah, so I have to deal with Ogre Lol at some point. I don't really understand the full context of what I have to deal with. She just said to deal with them. And I said, yes, prince, and we shook on it, and then she gave me a hug and gave me the cloak, and yeah. I was still kind of processing it when you came over that morning. But this was after... he still doesn't look towards Abyss. This was after you came to see me.
He's really letting his pride get the best of him. I'm not looking at her.
Wouldn't you, in his position?
You know what? Fair point.
Well, at least you're okay, which was
Yeah, I'm alright.
mostly the concern. Yeah. I have a funny feeling I probably should let the guards know that you're fine. That we
Oh, I
found you.
already dealt with that, actually.
Thank you. And sorry, that was not intentional.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't show them my cloak. I turned into a guard and pointed them all in a different direction.
I
I
mean,
want
that's
this mask.
So now
alive.
they're going and searching for the other half-orc in town. I feel bad for him, but honestly, it's not like they're going to do anything bad to him, so, whatever.
no, that orc will just probably look like, what the fuck is going on? Why do they think I'm part of the court?
Yeah, it's going to be a confusing time for him.
It's a confusing
mean, to
time
be
for
fair-
everybody.
That's exactly what I was about to say. So yeah.
Well, anybody have questions?
You
No.
guys go ahead now. The mask thing kind of stumped me.
Oh,
Did
I
they-
can. It's something called a warlock. I have a pact. Yeah, I have made a pact, and she has made me her warlock of... I'm technically not her warlock. She gave me an extension of her power from her mother. The actual ruler. It's confusing.
Not. It's Fae. They're always confusing.
I kind of get the sense I'm going to have to just get used to it.
Oh, abso-damn-lutely. She goes and just reaches and pats him on the shoulder. You're stuck.
I just kind of raised my glass with a nod.
But hey, could have been worse.
Oh, I mean... Maybe? I'm not sure.
Oh no, it could always be worse.
It's true.
Do we have
I
food
mean-
on the table?
There's like snacks.
Okay. Lorelai slams her hands on the table. A toast! And then takes a piece of bread and eats it.
Isn't that a little on the nose?
Yes. No, but for real, a toast.
Oh, fine. Lorelai wants toast.
Somebody would get her some toast. Oh,
I just
Gosh,
grab
I didn't realize
my-
you love toast that much,
I
Lorelai.
grab my pint and just tap everyone's glass.
Oh boy, a thunderstorm started.
Ooh,
Oh boy, you guys heard that? Lorelai started a thunderstorm.
No,
No.
IRL, there's a thunderstorm. We'll probably
There's a
wrap up.
Thunderstorm out for me too.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap up in about half an hour.
Alright then.
Yeah, Nate's prone to power outages.
Especially in the summer. Dear lord.
You trust me, I remember those days.
Fucking in the middle of a fucking game of Call of Duty and suddenly, oh shit, Nate's gone. And then
All of you guys.
I was gonna say, as soon as one of us disappeared, everybody was gone. And Ronnie, it was either like Ronnie and one other person, or like Jay Wood and someone else. Anyway, you guys finish your round of drinks and, you know, mild conversation about what exactly his powers are. He doesn't go into detail about some of them, but he does turn to Lorelei and he's like, you know, just like this bread, the enemies that you guys meet end up being toast. I need you to make a... What is the save for this?
Oh!
Which save?
I need a wisdom save, Lorelei.
Oh god. He does.
Wait, is this something he can get? I think it's... Oh, no, it's not. Never mind.
Nate, you asshole!
Damn it. It would have been wonderful. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, that's a bard wizard spell, and Arcfey warlocks don't get Tasha's hideous laughter, unfortunately.
Oh.
Oh, I thought it was vicious mockery, but
You know, Lorelei will just bust out laughing anyway because it's stupid as hell. And you know, he at least what would the word be? Reciprocated my joke.
Yeah, I guess it's reciprocation.
Yeah, so I laughed just because you know he made a joke in the same line as mine.
No. Oh, he can't really use that. You guys are too high of a level. Yeah, no, he can't really use any of his special abilities aside from the mask.
Well, he tried doing something and it failed. But I
I
still laughed
like
at
his
it.
mask.
He does take like some scraps from the bread and set them up on top of a cup over at the next table, and you guys watch as, okay, let's see if I can do this right. And he takes a small branch that has been intricately designed into a wand, not carved, designed, as if this branch was specifically grown to be a wand shape. And he points it towards the bread, and he fires a bright green bit of energy, and you watch as the piece of bread goes and flies off.
well then.
She said that one was called Eldritch Blast, but I don't understand what the first word means.
Do any of us?
Probably not.
Okay.
Maybe Lufier, but probably
Maybe I'd
not.
know.
Actually, no, Abyss knows the word Eldritch,
Yeah.
because it came up during her successful history and religion check.
I might, if I know like the sect of Blood Hunter that does magic.
You probably haven't interacted with any of those, because that specific sect would be an Ogre Lol. The one that's part Warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Warlock magics are much more common in Ogre Lol. Most of the Warlocks on Verwyn are either Archfey or Hexblades. I mean, I don't think I need to explain what Eldritch is. It's just a power that's far beyond mortal understanding. It is something that is drawn from outside of yourself. Yeah. So
The magic of
Abyss can
confusion.
choose to give him the definition of what...
I'll give the definition.
Okay.
Alright.
It's the first time he's looked at you all day, as you tell him. But pretty much as soon as you're done speaking, he like immediately catches himself staring at you and looks away.
Martia raises an eyebrow over her juice.
So, Hearton, tomorrow?
We have. How
It's
long?
four days travel, I think. But leaving in the morning, yes?
Yeah, probably should, unless there's anything else any of us need to do.
We should. I don't think there is.
I don't believe so.
Nope.
Okay.
Then yeah, head out to Hearton in the morning.
Well, let's have some good food and some more drinks then, I guess. Another round is brought for you guys, and dinner has begun to be served. Dinner for a lot of you, depending on the quality of what food you want, is anywhere from, let's see, like a single gold piece to like 15 gold.
I'll pay for it.
Say just a single.
How much are you paying?
I'll pay 15 gold.
Cool.
Of course you will.
So you guys have brought some fresh loaves of bread, some jam, preserves, some nut butter,
But
some...
God damn, Nate, you're making me hungry.
They also provide non-dairy butter. And over the course of the next, hour, you guys have brought various courses. Starting with some roasted vegetables and, basically a chicken stir-fry, but not spiced. After that, they bring out a entirely vegetable, basically just a salad, but deconstructed. And then the last thing they bring out is a pretty sizable roasted turkey. You guys all have your fill. Your drinks are filled up as you're eating. And you guys... Some other customers come in and, they share some stories while they have some drinks. They order food themselves. The atmosphere gets a little lively, but not too much. Seems he's picked up a little bit more in business since he's done his renovations and such, but not by much. You guys finish out your meal and start making your way up to your rooms for your night's rest. As you're all in your rooms, getting yourselves ready for bed, Horace does knock on your door, Abyss.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can I come in?
sure.
He opens up the door. I feel like you've kind of been avoiding me, and I've been avoiding you.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
Are we together, or... It's okay if we're not. I mean, you were just a traveler coming through town, and then I kind of flung myself on you.
I've never really been in a relationship before, so I'm not exactly sure what to do. And
Oh, I thought you didn't want to cuddle because you saw me crying. I didn't realize you were just awkward.
yeah,
she's the awkward one.
Compared to him with a charisma of fucking 16, yes. He was a bard back in his town. He's pretty slick. Anyway.
I didn't realize I
And
had
I'm not.
fucking competition in the charisma department.
I mean, he didn't become a bard because it felt thematically pretty good for him to become a warlock in the midst of the night, since there were two ways it was going to go. Either Abyss convinced him to come back and go to sleep, or he stayed out and became a warlock.
To be fair, might have been a good idea for him that he stayed up.
Yeah. I just feel really bad for him.
Yeah.
That's just how relationships go sometimes. That's why you talk it out like they're doing now.
Lesson here, folks.
Well,
I'm fucking crying.
do you want to spend the night together tonight?
Sure.
Okay. We don't have to do anything. We can just cuddle if you want.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That does sound nice. He comes into bed and joins you. Are you Big Spoon or Little Spoon?
I don't know what those mean.
The Big Spoon is the one... Guys.
No, I mean, Abyss doesn't know what that means.
Oh.
Okay.
No, I think he was asking out of character.
Yeah.
Because that sounded like a Nate voice, not a Horace voice.
I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes
Abyss
it's hard to
doesn't know
tell.
what either of those mean.
Yeah, but...
And I'm neither spoon because I get sensory overload in my skin.
So, what would Abyss be if she were...
Would she want to be the one cuddling?
You're not wrong.
Or does she want to be the one cuddled?
You could probably be the one cuddled.
Okay.
Okay, then.
So you're Big Spoon.
And I mean, it's not like you ever have to be one or the other. You can switch off. Anyway.
Exactly.
I know, but I don't think Abyss has ever been cuddled before.
Well, he cuddles up on Abyss, and it's... Aside from the... one of the nights that you spent with him back in Selwick, this is now the second time in the past month that you have felt warm.
No.
Most of your body is very cold, naturally, due to your unique mutations. But also, because you don't try to keep yourself warm, you don't wear winter clothes, you know, the dome isn't necessarily a warm place for you because you also exude cold. But when he's cuddling with you, there's just, his warmth against yours, and vice versa, you're cold against him.
Poor guy. At least they don't have to worry about out overheating each other, I guess. That's a problem in our house.
True, actually.
Yeah.
No matter what time of the year, it's always the same. One of them's kind of cold and the other one's kind of warm. Not that this relationship will probably last that long, to be honest.
No.
I mean, I'll tell you guys after session.
No.
So, everybody has a night's long rest. Lufir. In the midst of the night, there's a knocking at your door.
Do I recognize if it's what kind of person is knocking? Like, is it a bigger person or is it a heartier knock?
It is a heartier knock.
I'll be right back.
I get my
go for.
I kind of hide it behind my back a little bit. Who is it?
Business.
Oh, I don't know if I want this business, and I kind of,
Just
grab the
open your
handle.
damn door.
I get my weapon ready and open the door.
Okay, you open the door. You see a very gruff tiefling. They have a kind of light brown skin tone and very mangy, dark black hair. They have no visible horns, but you do recognize them as a tiefling, as they do have a tail.
You just don't look very familiar to me.
No, I wouldn't. But you don't look very familiar to me.
So what do you want?
He kind of forces his way into your room and shuts the door. Business.
Said that, but you've yet to discuss what kind of business.
You asking about things at the guardhouse? I've got information.
And I kind of, put my weapon not down, but just kind of relax a little bit.
You won't
Okay.
be needing that. I'm well aware of your other half.
Oh, getting a bit personal now.
You don't live in this town as long as you do without me learning things.
Apparently not. Okay, do tell. What's on your mind?
You wanted information on the man that broke your building, and
do.
also on the silver hands that were in town.
Mostly just wanted to know if I could get my hands on some of the weapons or armor.
Why would you need silver hand weapons?
Mere interest. The magical robe sounds nice, though.
Does.
But the captain's currently wearing the plate mail.
Plate mail's just plate mail. He had it retrofitted to fit on him. It looks a little silly.
It probably does. But what about this man? What's it going to cost me then?
Depends what you want to know. And I'm always willing to exchange.
Who is he?
Name-wise, he doesn't use one anymore.
Who was he then?
Far as all my contacts tell me, he's just some crazy man from Coldvale. Some kind of experiment on the mind. He's
And why?
not human.
Oh, not much is clear from destroying 3 buildings. Or more.
He's got crab arms on his shoulders.
You say crab arms?
Blue skin.
Does it sound familiar to me at all, Nate?
No.
Well, yeah.
As a player, it may invoke the thought of something, but I don't know if you've bothered to read through all of the things that are available.
What's this about him doing things to your mind? Or he's needing to be gagged?
If you want that information, that'll cost. You have secrets to trade or coin.
I pull out 3 platinum. What can I get for this?
He immediately swipes it from your hand, although you don't actually see him do so. You just see it in his hand. Alright. So, he pockets the coins. What was the question? Sorry.
About his needing to be gagged, doing things to your mind.
Oh, seems whenever he gets mad, he starts spouting spells. Some kind of magic barbarian of a sort.
Really?
Either that or he's got much tougher skin than I gave him credit for.
You saw him in action then?
Of course. Swinging wildly, letting loose magic left and right. Not controlled magic, though. Like the mountains, the Vitrith Mountains. Wild and crazy like magics.
I've been in the Vitrith Mountains before and definitely agree it's a bit crazy on the magical side. Exploding squirrels, backhanded magics.
Yes. It's like he wasn't even aware of what he was doing. Just letting loose magic words and letting them do what they will. In fact, it wasn't even him that killed most of the people. It was the spells. You'd be surprised what an earthquake will do in the middle of a town.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine the damage it could have caused. Is that what he used, was an earthquake?
That's what it looked like.
Did he grab his hands or stomp?
Neither.
Was it verbal?
All of it was.
That's concerning.
So, out of character, this, as a DM to player, I will explain. Essentially, what he describes to you over the course of the next 10-ish minutes is a person whose race I will not give away because that's on you. But they are a barbarian. Specifically, they are a variation of the Unearthed Arcana Wild Soul barbarian. Essentially, when he goes into a rage, he just kind of starts spewing magic. He does not have any control of it.
Okay then, that's yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's why they gagged him.
I wonder how long how long they're gonna keep him for.
Mages are picking him up. You were told that by the guards. So, like, another 2 days before he's in Wildermyth.
I thank you for the information.
You've still got a little bit left over for any other questions.
Do you know of the silver priests that came through? The rest of them. They had a small group of people, I guess, looking for me.
Looking for the old you, Mr. Leafair.
I might have to change my name.
Or at the very least, you shouldn't have given it away when you were up to town.
I wonder how many people heard that.
My contacts at least, which include the bar owner.
And I don't think he's going to say much, but who knows. But, have you heard of this group of riders looking for me? Should I be worried
Riders
about
are on.
Really?
Dead.
Oh, well, that's a relief, I guess.
Shouldn't be. They
Oh?
were killed by silver priests. Only one of the originals was a silver priest. You recall only one of the riders that Amartya described was actually a silver priest. The rest of them weren't wearing any of the usual attire of a silver priest.
Well, I suspect they'll be hunting me down still, but the new form will definitely be of use in that department.
You should keep your name to yourself for one now, at least till you're off the continent.
That's more than fair.
That's your answers then. Safe
It
trip
is.
to Hearton.
I thank you for your information, and if you would, keep an eye on things for me.
No. He opens up the window and just slinks out.
Talk to the shopkeeper about keeping these windows locked.
The window was locked.
Oh.
He unlocked it.
Okay.
Everybody finishes out a long rest, and as you gather yourselves up and prepare for the trip to Hearton, that is where we will leave session for this week, because, as I said, there's a thunderstorm, and I will most likely lose power.
Hey, buddy.
Fun.
What?